Good evening, America. I'm Gary Franchi coming to you live from sunny Florida with the Gulf of America as my backdrop tonight. And I got someone special here. Angie, come on and say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Look who it is. Yeah. I decided to bring her along on spring break.
Nice guy. I missed you guys. I can't wait to get back on here with you.
You will. You will.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is pretty awesome that we can be here, spend family time, and be with you guys as well. Have a great night tonight.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Can I have a kiss? Okay.
Camera kiss.
All right, well, welcome to the Raw Feed, where the truth flows unfiltered. It's April 1st, 2025, and we're not fooling around today. It's day 71 of President Trump's historic reclamation of the White House, and we have an absolutely explosive lineup for you tonight. Before we dive in, I want to make a special appeal to our viewers, however. On March 28th, a tragic car accident claimed the lives of 5-year-old Arianna and her father, while her 10-year-old sister, Alicia, was critically injured. Now, Arianna was a beautiful soul who loved Hello Kitty, making hot chocolate, and spreading joy to everyone that she met. Now, this family is facing unimaginable grief, along with mounting funeral costs and medical bills. So please visit the GoFundMe link in the description to help support them during this devastating time. Any amount makes a difference. Now, we are streaming live on YouTube to millions worldwide, as well as on Rumble and X, and you need to follow us on those platforms as the censorship news tightens. In fact, do something right now. Text the stream to 5 people that you know. That's right. Bypass the algorithm and help us spread the word organically, person to person. That's how we win the information war. Now, tonight we're doing something special with our audience. We're going to be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments, featuring you on screen for the world to see. Your voice matters here, and that's what separates us from the propaganda machine. We actually listen to the American people. And, of course, we have our man Tom McCullough on the ground in Washington, D.C., right in the belly of the beast, bringing us real-time updates as these historic events unfold. Tom's been working his sources all day, and he is going to be providing us some exclusive information you won't hear anywhere else tonight. So here's what we've uncovered. Kid Rock, he just stormed the White House as Trump is unleashing war on elite scalpers, collapsing the culture wars in real time. Then the media is having an absolute meltdown over Trump's third term comments. Is this real or the greatest troll in American history? We're also covering Liberation Day as Trump unleashes a global tariff revolution that's breaking the chains of economic slavery. Plus, Elon Musk has exposed deep state destruction as Trump backs the tech tycoon in a war for the future of civilization itself. And finally, Trump's MS-13 deportation blitz has liberal lawmakers in complete meltdown as the border invasion collapses under the weight of consequences. And we need your support to keep this show going. The corporate vultures would love nothing more than to see us disappear. So please consider donating through the links in the description. Your contribution directly funds our ability to bring you the news they don't want you to hear. And don't forget to check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. You can get exclusive Next News swag to show off your favorite news source. We've launched YouTube channel memberships as well, each with special perks. Support the channel and receive special acknowledgement in the chat room and unlock exclusive access to the Next News team. Behind the scenes video you will never see published on the channel for the public, as well as access to the Discord chat room that is 24/7. You can connect with all the viewers of the Next News Network family. Remember, super chats get priority between segments and your support gets you noticed. Now let's dive into what might be the most important episode of the Raw Feed yet. Buckle up, America. The truth starts now, and let's welcome you to the show. I'm going to do my best to try to see everyone who's here tonight because the sun is just beating down from behind me, and it's very difficult for me to even see my screens tonight. But it looks like we've got Kathy and R. Boyd. We've got Cindy and Jeff and Sabrina. We've got Heather Reeve. What do you guys think about this backdrop? We're on the Gulf of America. How cool is that, right? Who else is in the house? We've got Broken Prophets, Sabrina, JD from SC, Sure You is in the house. We've got Juan Ruiz. We've got PJ. We've got Cindy, Juan, Jeff, Carly, Lee, Pothead Kenny. We got Ten Dude. We got Andrea, R. Boyd, Sabrina PG. Let's see. Gary needs some sunshades. That's right. What's up, Mr. Crippy and Jeff? We've got Batman in the house. We've got Raven, Debbie, Eric, Carrie Knopf. We've got Lizette and Gary and Robert, FLE Reptiles. We've got Joe and Larry and Billy and Debbie and Jesse. Everyone is here tonight. Yeah, we are totally exposed right now. We're totally on the balcony at the resort, and it's such a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and I think by the end of the show, you will see the sun setting over the Gulf of America. How fun is that? But we've got some news to jump into tonight, so let's just get right into it, shall we? Because we don't have time to waste. Ladies and gentlemen, the White House has gone full American badass. Kid Rock just strutted into the Oval Office alongside President Trump to wage war against a ticket scalping cartel that's been bleeding American concertgoers dry for decades. With a stroke of his pen, Trump has signed an executive order directing the FTC and Attorney General to crush exploitive scalping practices. But here's what the media won't tell you. It's not just about concert tickets. This is about the culture war's last gasp. When Kid Rock dines with Bill Maher at the White House, you know the establishment's crumbling. The unlikely alliance that's forming before our eyes is sending shockwaves to the globalist power structure, and the walls are coming down. And as we move through 2025, one thing is crystal clear. De-dollarization is accelerating. China and BRICS nations are terrified of President Trump's economic strategy, driving them to reduce dependence on the U.S. dollar. But their weapon of choice is gold. China has resumed massive gold purchases and deliberately underreported their acquisitions. Why? Well, it's because they're being secretive. They recognize gold's intrinsic value and immunity to economic manipulation. While global powers prepare for financial upheaval, Americans need to consider their own protection. And gold offers a tangible hedge against uncertainty that has stood the test of time. Noble Gold Investments provides a path to securing your financial future with precious metals. So visit nextnewsgold.com today, and qualified accounts will receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins. That's nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below, and the number on the screen is 877-646-5347. Tell them that Gary Franchi sent you. Okay, so we have this clip here, and this is just wild to see Bill Maher talking like this with Chris Cuomo. The liberal comedian Bill Maher, ahead of his dinner with President Trump, talking about the woke crazy train. Listen to this.
Right past, you're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just like, maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But,
well, I mean, when you can bridge the gap between two extremes and bring people to the table of discussion, I think that's a good first step to healing this country. Now, I mean, yeah, Bill Maher, he's a jerk. We all know it. But, you know, even a broken clock is right twice a day, and sometimes he really does get it right. And he stuns the left because he calls out their BS.
If two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credential. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that, and I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give...
I mean, who really wants the woke mob hanging out with you anyway, man? Those guys are lunatics.
You a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody. First of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, you know, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburb, was invited for a private dinner to the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed the fuck out of it. I get to go to the White House, and yes, that is the structure of this dinner, is just let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles away, you know? So if they expect me to be leaving in a MAGA hat, they're going to be very disappointed, but I know they don't. And I think it's going to be, you know, look, it probably will accomplish very little, but you got to try, man. You got to try.
Well, at least they're trying, okay? Like I said, I'm no fan of Bill Maher. A broken clock is right twice a day. And at least somebody is taking a step forward to initiate conversation. And he's not going to let the woke mob dictate how he, you know, should he be shamed? Shame for going to the White House and talking with President Trump. Shame for sharing a table with President Trump. No, you take the opportunity. If you have an invitation to the White House, you go. Okay? Not like during the 2016 administration when you had people saying you had full-on sports teams that were not going to go to the White House. Give me a break. Here's Kid Rock describing dinner with President Trump and Bill Maher. Check this out.
It's obviously could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, you know, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but he's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You know, you've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was like, "You've never been here, Bill?" And I was like, how about this? President Trump, you know, extending this olive branch, and we talked about things we had in common, you know, ending wokeness, you know, securing the border. You know, the president was asking him what he thought about policy, you know, going on with Iran and Israel and things. It just meant, it blew my mind. I was, you know, very, very proud.
And that's how you start to build bridges. Here we have Kid Rock. We got some more. Talking about uniting the country again.
I'm actually going to try to unite this country, and I'm starting at the end of the month. I'm taking Bill Maher to the White House for dinner. This guy who's done nothing but talk smack about the president since day one. But he's a comedian too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can have conversations with him, you know, if you don't get into Trump, because I'm like, I freaking love him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't. I'm like, let's talk about other things. We can find common ground. He's actually, you know, more reasonable than a lot of people on the right would think.
I think
especially the last maybe 4 years or whatever. So I said to him, I was doing his podcast, and I said, if I can hook you guys up, this, that, and the other. And trust me, there's a lot more people deserving at that table, you know, for dinner. So it's a big deal to me to, you know, bring him there and even have the president be like, yeah, do it. Let's do it.
And of course it happened, right? Now here is President Trump with Kid Rock in the White House. I mean, look at the Kid Rock. I mean, I saw some of your comments. The guy, people are like, is he related to Evel Knievel? Yeah. I wonder, I think I may know who designed this outfit. I'm going to have to make a couple phone calls. But here is President Trump taking executive action to protect fans.
It's called him Mr. Rock. Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business. For fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well, the ticket reselling industry has become a huge issue. These people use bots and computer algorithms to buy up huge blocks of tickets and then jack up the price so that fans of live entertainers like Mr. Ritchie, I almost called him Mr. Rock, don't have access to concerts the way that they should. And when they do, it's at exorbitantly high prices. So what this executive order does, it charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books in collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over consumer protection and other people who have the power to really crack down on this issue so that entertainers and fans won't be subject to these abusive and oftentimes illegal practices.
Good. Thank you very much.
Of course, sir. So
I never thought I'd see an executive order on that, but here we are. I mean, I'm sure you've probably gone to a concert, you know, realizing tickets are all sold out, only to find out that all those tickets were picked up by ticket scalpers. I mean, growing up, I had friends that's what they did. They would go buy huge blocks of tickets and they would resell them and make huge amounts of money. And they had people standing in line. This is long before they had like automated bots that could buy up the tickets. So here is Kid Rock actually talking in the Oval Office.
Those you want to go to.
Bob, you want to say something?
Yeah, anybody it doesn't matter your politics. First off, thank you, Mr. President, because this has happened at lightning speed. I know you I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for it, but more importantly, these bots, you know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400 or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there'd be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather be, you know, a hero to the working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen.
Yeah, when ticket prices are $900 a ticket because you have scalpers who are pushing the prices up, the average American just can't go and have fun at these concerts. So here's more from that moment.
You better do well with this. He's going to do it. Make sure everything is nice and clean, right? For your
Make America fun
because
again.
you're not in the clean industry. Hold that up. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Nice. Here's President Trump responding to a question about Kid Rock's outfit.
I was thinking about a lot of people out.
President Trump, would you ever wear a jacket like that?
I don't know. I was thinking about doing it for tomorrow. We have a big event coming up, and I was thinking about doing it. I'm not sure.
Okay, President Trump, I know exactly where you can get an outfit like that. Here's another question Trump gets about, did Biden do news conferences like this?
Did Biden do news conferences like this, Peter? I don't think
No. He was never standing next to somebody who looked like they were about to be shot out of a cannon.
Wouldn't have worked out. Did Biden
Shot out of a cannon. Here's more from that moment. Let's see. Kid Rock talks about his dinner with President Trump. This was on Fox Business.
All right, tell us what happened from start to finish in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, I went on Bill's show, I went on his podcast, and I said, man, you know, nothing happens if people don't break bread together and meet face to face. He's been one of the president's hardest critics, and we came to dinner, me, Bill, Dana White, and it could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, you know, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but he's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You know, you've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was
Okay, yeah, we saw that clip. Let's take a look now. Here's CNN. Democrats in Congress now have a whopping 21% approval rating. I wonder why.
Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove 68%. And look at the approved number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh my goodness gracious, you just can't get worse than these numbers.
And this is the number right here really driving all of this. If Democratic voters have turned on Democrats in Congress and the Democratic Party, that's what puts the numbers at historic lows. What is it they want to be seeing, these voters?
What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. They don't like what's coming out of some of those Senate Democrats like Chuck Schumer, because take a look at the direction of the party. Democratic voters on Democrats in Congress doing too little to oppose Donald Trump. Look at this. 77% should stay principled, even if it means nothing gets done in Washington, D.C. 65%. And this 65% is such a difference from where we were in 2017 at this point, when just 33% of Democrats say they should stay principled, compared to 59% who said they want to compromise. Democrats do not want compromise at this point. They want a fighter. They want to go into the ring like Muhammad Ali did against Sonny Liston. They want to take down the Republicans. They do not want this compromise anymore. They want to be more like Republicans.
You know, I watch these. I watch it. They want a fighter. 80% of the American people are against them. You know, maybe they should start reading the writing on the wall and get with the program about what the American people actually want. Because they'll forever stay in the minority if they continue to play these games.
To that stage and fight. And right now they feel like their leaders in Congress are simply put not doing so. And that is why their approval rating for congressional Democrats is at an all-time low, even among Democrats with more disapproving than approving.
Yeah, it seems that these Senate Democrats, some of them are banking on the idea that there is still a political middle, as it were. We will see. We will see.
We will see if there's a political middle, but at this point, can't be skeptical that that is at least what the Democratic base wants at this point. It's going to be very interesting, John, to see moving forward whether or not there are any repercussions come 2026, because I bet there may be some coming.
Arianna.
Yeah, buckle up, dude. Yeah, keep pandering to the woke agenda. Keep screaming about DOGE and oh my goodness, I'm so sad that they cut the transgender operations for comic book heroes in Uganda, right? Here's Scott Jennings on this Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Everyone's talking about a very important race right now. Listen to this.
The party has to do. I do think a couple of things are true. Number one, the Republican Party is grappling with a new reality. We have a lot of voters in the party that do not vote regularly. They're low propensity voters. They turned out for Donald Trump. They like to vote when he's on the ballot. But even in the November election, you saw people show up, vote Trump, and then leave the rest of it blank. One of the things the party has to do is condition those people to show up even when Donald Trump is not the person they're voting for. Number two, I think the Elon Musk point that you played earlier about the future of Western civilization, I actually think this is a key issue the Republicans ought to lean in on.
The party controls the House. It to a significant degree controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization. So it's like, I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will. Yeah.
Because it's not just a one-off election when you're voting in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race or some congressional special election in Florida. These things matter. There are ripple effects. A vote here causes major implications on policy down the line. So I think Elon is actually onto something with that messaging. And I hope Republicans, especially the new ones who aren't regular voters, take it to heart. I do think a couple of things are true. Number one, the Republican Party is grappling with a new...
We just got photobombed by Angelo. How do you like that? Scott Jennings on point, though. Here we have more. This is from the press conference earlier today, talking about the Houthi strikes.
These Houthi strikes have been incredibly successful. Last time I was at this podium, there were more than 100 successful strikes. There have now been over 200 successful strikes against the Houthis. Iran is incredibly weakened as a result of these attacks, and we have seen they've taken out Houthi leaders. They've taken out critical members who were launching strikes on naval ships and on commercial vessels, and this operation will not stop until the freedom of navigation in this region is restored, which is a critical principle, and this president stands behind our Defense Department, who's doing a tremendous job.
Here we have more from the press secretary talking about Lee Zeldin. I watched the press conference live. Tom was at the press conference today at the White House, so we were watching it all unfold in real time, and I couldn't believe about this museum, some like environmental museum that Joe Biden decided he was going to create. Listen to this. They shut it down, though, thank God.
Because you did bring up DOGE, I do want to tout the incredible efforts that have been made at the Environmental Protection Agency. And Administrator Lee Zeldin is just doing a tremendous job. Just yesterday and today it will be going into effect. He announced that taxpayers will be saved $8 million in annual lease costs by moving staff out of the 323,000 square feet of space that the EPA currently occupies, which is completely unnecessary. Yesterday, Administrator Zeldin also announced he will be shutting down a museum that the Biden administration built to tell a selective story about the EPA's history and climate change. It was a real
You see what she said there? A selective story. They're rewriting history. They're injecting their woke ideology into the museum campuses that are in Washington, D.C., and your tax dollars are paying for this endless propaganda storm. Thank God Donald Trump and Elon Musk have discovered it and shut it down, saving you money. Oh, they complain. Oh, my goodness. They took $50 million. What's $50 million in the grand scheme of things? Well, it all adds up. It all adds up.
On the back to President Biden. And guess how much American taxpayers paid for it? $4 million for this museum that I think only 1,000 visitors saw last year alone. And it will cost American taxpayers $600,000 per year to operate this museum. Well, it's not going to exist anymore. We're going to save taxpayers those critical funds. And Administrator Zeldin is very proud to announce that. And just at EPA alone, and the cuts that they have made, they've saved taxpayers more than $22 billion in wasteful grants and spending.
$22 billion have been saved so far. $22 billion, and that number is only going to increase. Here we have more. This is Secretary Scott Bessent talking about Liberation Day, which kicks off tomorrow.
Get out ahead of April 2nd. We are going to disclose the reciprocal tariffs. I'm not going to get out ahead of President Trump. He's going to announce them 3 o'clock on Wednesday. And I think for the first time in decades, probably since I was a college student, we're going to see a fair trade, and everyone will have the opportunity to lower their tariff, lower their non-tariff barriers, stop the currency manipulation, stop subsidizing labor, stop subsidizing, stop providing cheap loans, and they make the global trading system fair for American workers again. And if President Trump campaigned on this, he has a mandate, as you know. He had a substantial electoral college majority. He won all 7 swing states, and he won the popular vote. So he has a mandate to do this. He's doing what he promised he would do.
Okay.
He's bringing jobs home.
Okay, so Liberation Day. Let's talk about that for a second. Reciprocal trade. That's like, it just goes over a lot of people's heads. Reciprocal trade. So if, let's just say Europe, they're taxing 20% on butter, American butter, and we want to have our butter go over there, but we've got this massive tariff inside Europe. Well, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to tariff European butter at the same rate. But if Europe brings their tariff down to 0, then guess what? We bring our tariff down to 0. And it's equal across the board. It's free trade. And there's no extra costs. You see, that's how it's going to liberate everything. It's going to equalize the playing field. So if they're striking up a 300% tariff on milk in Canada, well, guess what? They're going to have to bring that down, or else we're going to charge 300% on anything they bring in milk to America. That's how it works. And it's about damn frickin' time. So let's continue. We've got more. Here's Chris Coons. Oh, goodness, Chris Coons. Showing their true colors. Democrat Senator Chris Coons thinks your average middle American is too stupid to find Greenland on a map.
Voter, look, your average Trump voter laughs at us and says he's owning the libs. And your average middle American says, why are you wasting your time worrying about Greenland? I can't even find it on a map. Look.
Yeah, he thinks you're stupid. Here's more. President Trump on the executive order for the U.S. Treasury to modernize their payment system.
The checks issue, we have an executive order for your attention relating actually to government payments. Historically, checks issued by the Treasury are, I believe, 14 times more likely to become the subject of fraud than electronic transfer payments. This is an executive order that's going to push the Treasury Department to modernize its payment system to ensure that where possible they're using electronic methods of payment as opposed to paper checks in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
It's basically modernization of equipment and methods, and it's something that really I think he's going to be a great Secretary of the Treasury wanted, Scott, and so we're doing this, and we have other modernization programs going on. We could let somebody else, whoever's next, whoever that may be, do it, but it's something that should have been done 25, 30 years ago.
I mean, imagine how much could be saved just by the reduction of all that wasted paper
We have an executive order for your...
Just digitizing the payment structure of the United States government. Speaking of badasses, here is Stephen Miller talking about the great healing on Fox.
And this is the great healing and rejuvenation of the American economy after half a century of rampant offshoring, outsourcing, and deindustrialization. Sean, there was once a time in which Motor City in Michigan, Detroit automakers powered the entire globe. There was once a time when you could drive through Pennsylvania and all you would see were humming steel mills, humming coal plants, manufacturing facilities, again, that were supplying the entire world, supplying Americans and all of planet Earth. Ohio was again a bedrock of American industry and manufacturing. Foreign countries like China, Canada, Mexico, Cambodia, Vietnam, and the European Union took advantage of our country and our leaders, and they used both high tariffs, illegal subsidies, product dumping, currency manipulation, intellectual property theft, and other unfair trade practices and predatory trade practices to crush American industry. President Trump is resetting the entire global market by saying, number one, you can't steal our jobs. Number two, if you want to get preferential treatment, you have to put your factory inside the United States. Your auto plant, your manufacturing facility, your AI plant, your chip plant, whatever it is, you want to sell it to Americans on a preferential basis, then you have to make it here. And if you do, you'll get low taxes, low regulations, and cheap energy. But if you sell it to us from overseas, then yes, you will pay a tariff. This is the great healing and...
If you do it overseas, you're going to pay a tariff. Just relocate, bring the businesses home. Speaking of singer-songwriters, here's John Rich talking about the scalping executive order.
Ticket, they want to come. Well, the fees are ridiculous. So, you know, Ticketmaster, they got a major issue on their hands. And yes, when people go, for instance, to buy a Big and Rich ticket, they want to come see me and Big Kenny play a show. They're like, oh, cool, this not too expensive. I can buy that ticket. And then, like Kid Rock was saying, by the time they check out, man, it's like 50, 60%, sometimes more than that, higher just from the fees. You know, this is almost like a lockout. There's not that many places that sell tickets. I wish there was more competition. I think it honestly should be looked at. Do these companies control it too much? Is this almost a monopoly situation? And I think this executive order from the president is a good way to kick this off. And by the way, how does he do that? I mean, how many plates can this president spin at the same time? I mean, I really appreciate him looking at issues like this on top of everything else he's doing, man. I mean, he is smacking home run after home run right now. Well, the fees are...
Home run after home run, baby. That's what it's like when America is put first again, finally. Even making concerts great again. This is not something I expected. Kid Rock, the peace negotiator. What?
So smart. And any snare that's walked away without saying, like, wow, what a great guy. He's so funny, so engaging. He's so smart. And absolutely, Bill even said to me, after that, he goes, wow, that was, everybody's mind was kind of blown. Even the president's, I think, because the president called me late night last night, and, everyone was a little suspect about going into this. And even the president kind of alerted to me a little bit like, what do you got me doing?
Right.
And I go, man, we're just trying to show people that, even though we've been pretty hard on each other, that when you get face to face, maybe we could have a little more civility in this country and try to bring people together.
And
that was my whole intention.
That was so important because so many people now are in their own little silos and they don't even talk to the people across the street because they voted for somebody else. You showed that two of the biggest, most vocal people on both sides of the aisle can break bread, have a good time, and ultimately, I'm sure you took a bunch of pictures.
We did. Well, we kind of checked our phones. The president put his phone on a table, and he said everybody, and the guys kind of took ours, and the White House took some pictures, which I'm sure they'll put out at some point, because I can't wait to have one of those. I was clowning around the White House all day, taking pictures in the bowling alley and this, and running around in my flashy, as your son called it, Peter, my get shot out of a cannon suit. That was funny.
Evil Knievel.
Right. So you did this, you set this up. Do you sense that anything will change with Bill Maher's show from here? Because I think he's been very fair, to be honest, out of all those shows. What do you think?
That's my hope that, and God bless Bill, too, for, he even said going into this, he goes, because I go, Bill, I know, some of this Hollywood stuff, it would be great for you to get thrown out, and it'd probably be good for you to double down and be like, I can't stand this guy. And he goes, Bob, I'm not going to sabotage something that potentially could bring us and other people together, just to show that, that family member that you kind of divided with over politics, or that person at the school when you drop your kids off that is a left-wing person, and you're like, that maybe we'll just, hey, we can find things we have in common. And it gets so easy to go on social media. And one thing we learned through COVID was that isolation breeds hatred. We need to get out and talk to one another.
Yeah. And you did it, and you made a difference. Thanks so much. Well done.
Yeah, it's good to see these people coming together. That's what we need in this country, more healing. More healing. And, just to let you guys know, in case you didn't see, we're broadcasting outside right with the Gulf of America behind me. And we're celebrating the Gulf of America. We're celebrating the healing of America right here on the coast of Florida in an undisclosed location, bringing you all the news that everybody needs to hear. I think we got some more clips here for you from today. Just trying to find out exactly where we are. And no, don't see it. Okay. So, what we're witnessing isn't just a policy change, it's a dismantling of an elitist gatekeeping system that's kept average Americans locked out of entertainment for decades. Think about it, Taylor Swift fans paying thousands while corporate middlemen pocket the profits. UFC followers unable to see fights without mortgaging their homes. Meanwhile, Kid Rock, a symbol of American defiance, stands in the Oval Office as this system begins to collapse. Perhaps most stunning is the dinner party that followed. Trump, Kid Rock, Dana White, and yes, liberal talk show host Bill Maher breaking bread together. When Kid Rock was asked how it went, his response was simple. It couldn't have been better. The culture war's ending isn't coming with a bang, but with an unexpected alliance forming across old battle lines. So here's the question America needs to answer. If Kid Rock can bring Bill Maher to the Trump White House for dinner, is the supposed division in our country actually manufactured by those who profit from keeping us apart? Share your support for cultural unity with our exclusive Next News gear. You'll find it linked in the merch shop down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, just checking in here. I saw some. Guys, bear with me here because the visuals on the screen are so washed out because the sun is hitting the screen, and I think we had some super chats that came through. Tom B420, thanks, Gary. N3 Army misses you. Enjoy your time. I would have had a show live yesterday, but the UPS lost my package. We had 2 packages shipped from DC, from our DC studio to here. One of them arrived, the second one didn't, and it received a tracking number, it had all the information required, but UPS never received, like, it was at a UPS store, and they never got it. It never scanned into their system. So it doesn't make any sense. It has tracking number. We went to the store, raised hell. They got all defensive, whatever. So we had to buy all new gear and have it shipped here. It all arrived this morning, and I spent the last 3 hours setting everything up so we get the show started for you today and continue out the week. And at the same time, we've got Tom in Washington, D.C., at the White House, and he has been publishing stuff on our X account. He's been publishing stuff to the YouTube channel. You guys have probably seen it. So there's so much happening, and I'm glad you guys are still here hanging out with me at the Raw feed with the Gulf of America behind me. How fun is that? Okay, and I did see there was another super chat that came in. Forgive me, guys. It's hard for me to see. So, Brian, if you could bring up, I think there was a $49.99. I can't see it. $49.99 came through from somebody here. Alice Cersei, $49.99. Glad to see you back. And then there was also Tom B420, $5. Thanks, Gary. N3 Army misses you. And then Canadian $2. Start a museum of Doge discoveries. That's funny, right? That would be great. A museum of Doge discoveries. Why not, right? Okay. Let's get to our next topic of the evening here. Todd, I was looking for something from Tom for that last segment, but I can't figure out these bookmarks you have set up. So
real quick, you noticed the little stars beside some people's names.
I see the stars. Yes,
that means they're members.
I figured that.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew. Just passing on.
Okay. Okay, so where are we? 4-1, 4-1, 4-2, T5. This makes no sense. T1, TX, T2. Okay. All right. Let's go. You know what? This looks like it's still a little crooked for that horizon line. Let's see if we can adjust that just a hair. Is that? How's that? Isn't that good? Oh. Of course I screwed it up. What about there? Okay. Next topic of the evening. Ready, Brian? The media is having a full-scale nuclear meltdown tonight, and it's glorious to watch. President Trump casually mentioned seeking a third term, or as he put it, a fourth term, because 2020 was totally rigged, and the regime propagandists are collectively losing their minds. Keith Olbermann is screaming at his own colleagues for not panicking hard enough. Mark Elias wants the legacy media to wake the F up. Even press secretary, the former press secretary, Carly Bonet is laughing at the reports. What the hell does that even mean? Press Secretary Carly Bone. What does that even mean? Yeah, she's not the press secretary, so let's roll that back. Take two. Come on, Todd. Okay, take two. You ready? Reset your clock, Brian. The media is having a full-scale nuclear meltdown tonight, and it's glorious to watch. President Trump casually mentioned seeking a third term, or as he put it, a fourth term, because 2020 was totally rigged, and the regime propagandists are collectively losing their minds. Keith Olbermann is screaming at his own colleagues for not panicking hard enough. Mark Elias wants the legacy media to wake the F up, and others are laughing at the reporters who keep falling for it. Is Trump serious about securing a constitutional workaround for another term? Is he executing the greatest trolling operation in political history? Either way, the establishment's terrified reaction tells you everything you need to know about their grip on power. And as President Trump considers extending his leadership beyond traditional limits, Americans everywhere are wondering how they, too, can extend their prime years. Just like Trump's potential third term challenges conventional boundaries, this breakthrough collagen formula challenges traditional aging. Constitutional scholars debate term limits, while scientific studies show collagen users report fewer wrinkles from her skin and renewed vitality, almost like turning back the political clock. Just as Trump's opponents panic about his longevity in office, many worry about their own longevity, but this multi-collagen formula contains 5 essential types sourced from 4 different places to support complete rejuvenation. Visit healthwithgary.com and join the movement to extend your body's best years with our limited time 51% discount at healthwithgary.com. So I'm coming to you live from the Gulf of America as the sun is setting, and we're going to talk about exactly what is happening. Donald Trump, a third term? Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Here it is. We have ABC News legal contributor Kim Well suggests Trump could feasibly run for a third term. Is that something you guys would like to see?
The Constitution. At the end of the day, this doesn't really hinge on what the Constitution says. It's more on, if the Republican Party decides to put him on the ballot on a state-by-state basis, who's going to stop that process? There's no mechanism. If Donald Trump is willing to push the boundaries of the Constitution, the Republican Party doesn't come in and stop him. I think this is not, this is feasible. This could actually happen.
Now, many Trump allies, including Steve Bannon, have pointed to the Constitution not using the word consecutive when defining presidential terms. Is that a loophole?
I think that's a pretty weak argument. I mean, it doesn't say anything about it having to be consecutive terms. And if you think about it as well from an originalist standpoint, right, a conservative standpoint, and you think about why do we even have the 22nd Amendment? It was because Franklin Delano Roosevelt served 4 terms in office or was elected 4 times, and people from both parties didn't like that idea. There had been many attempts since the founding of the Constitution to put a cap on presidential terms, and they did that in 1951.
Now, just a few minutes ago, I asked Republican Congressman David Kustoff if he would support Trump serving a third term. He didn't say yes, but he also didn't say no. What happens if the president tries any of these tactics?
Well, that interview I heard, and I think it's good news that he believes it would take a constitutional amendment to allow that. But if he got on the ballot, I don't know that the Supreme Court would kick him off. We saw this in the last election. I believe Section 3 of the 14th Amendment made him ineligible because of January 2021 and the insurrection. But the Supreme Court said, we're not going to stop the Republican Party from choosing who they want to be at the top of the ticket. So with lots of things that are happening with Donald Trump, the question is who is going to stand in the way of what sounds like an extra constitutional agenda here?
I guess you could play some word games. Consecutive terms. These are non-consecutive terms, so they could challenge it, run him again, and he wins the nomination, goes for a third term. I guess it could feasibly happen. I'm not against it. Here's Senator Hawley, who's a constitutional lawyer. Careful not to break with Trump on a third term.
Seriously.
Don't you think he's probably kind of trolling?
Well, he said I'm quote not joking.
Well, I know, but I say that a lot too.
So we shouldn't take him seriously when he says he's not joking.
Well, the Constitution's pretty fair. I guess you could try to pass a constitutional amendment. I'm kind of a term limits fan, though. I think we ought to have him for Congress too. So my view, if he's wanting my view, I would say
limited to.
I would say let's go further. Let's get him for Congress as well. Sauce for the goose is sauce for the goose. So presidents I know always, particularly popular presidents, always complain about that, especially in the economy.
So you're against
their 6th term.
So you're against seeing a third term.
Well, I'm generally in favor of term limits. I think it was a good idea. You know, interestingly, it applied against the only president from my home state, Harry S. Truman, was the first president to have the term limits. He didn't like them either. So presidents never like it. But I'm kind of a term limits guy.
Dangerous for him to sort of flirt with that idea?
I think he's kind of twisting all state.
If he were to run for a third term, would you try to stop him? Is there anything that you would do?
Well, I mean, gosh, the Constitution's pretty clear. I don't think he'd do that. He might try to change that, submit a constitutional amendment. I guess you could call a convention of states.
Would you be against that?
Calling a convention of states?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm a pro term limits kind of guy. My view would be let's expand. He's doing a great job.
But he floated a scenario
You guys are all
where
worked up
Vance
about
would
this.
run.
No,
and
he
then
was
would
asked
beat it.
about that.
Yeah.
He got asked about that.
And he said that would be
He said, oh, maybe.
something.
He
Wow.
said
Floating
maybe.
it.
He
So
said,
that
oh,
was
that's
one
one
option.
Right. He said, oh, that's one option. That was, you guys need to lighten up.
Dude, the media is just eating this up. I mean, they're going after Hawley, and Hawley's handling it like a boss. You know, I mean, he's basically calling it trolling, but not leaving the not leaving it off the table. Damn, this is crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Keith Olbermann. Oh, Keith Olbermann is just. This guy is just. This guy is the physical incarnation of Trump derangement syndrome.
On the podcast, on the all-new Monday Countdown podcast. No NBC News, you idiots. Trump isn't kidding about a third term. He's been talking about it since we first put it on the podcast in November of 2023. Try to keep up, Kristen Welker. Stop humiliating yourself. This goes for the mainstream media. Trump is intent on staying in office forever. Stop thinking he's kidding. He is a dictator in the making.
Oh man, Keith Olbermann, dude, this guy is deranged on his own. But if the guy wanted to go for a third term, I'm game for it. I mean, we've seen other presidents in the past go beyond that, and that's why they had to put these term limits in place. But if it's non-consecutive, well, he's not breaking the law.
You are enabling him. Also, I wonder who it could be who keeps leaking all these bad stories about Pete Hegseth to the media, about Pete Hegseth's wife being at meetings she should not have been at, about Pete Hegseth's brother being on the payroll at the Pentagon all of a sudden. Gee, I wonder, is there anybody in the Trump administration who's been accused of being in contact with the media recently? Like, maybe the national security advisor who has Jeff Goldberg's phone in his phone? Maybe it's him. Also, Bill Maher self-destructs again. Now he's under the delusion that by going to the White House, he will...
Okay, Keith Olbermann, that's enough airtime for you. Here is President Trump. Santa Surfing says Trump is seeking a third term. He didn't say he's running for president. He flat out says it.
Have to do it anymore. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Oh, come on. You guys are reading into this. Here's more. Mark Elias on Trump's third term threats. He says he's not joking, so everyone in legacy media, wake the F up. Oh, please.
That to your... It is not clear if what they have in mind here is that he runs for a third term, which would clearly be prohibited by the U.S. Constitution. And to change that, to your point, you would need the Constitution to be amended, which frankly is never going to happen. It would require a vote in Congress. It would require the states. It's never going to happen. The second possibility is that what they have in mind is some kind of shenanigans by which he effectively... Someone else runs for president, but he winds up president. We can walk through what that looks like. And then the third possibility is that he is essentially just the shadow president. He is not actually the president, but he controls presidential power. All of these would be authoritarian moves. All of these are consistent with Donald Trump's desire to be a dictator and not give up power. And all of them, and I want people to hear this loud and clear, need to be taken seriously. You know, he's saying he's not joking. So like everyone in the legacy media, wake the fuck up. Like, this guy's not joking. It is not clear if what...
Because only the people in the legacy media are terrified of what could happen. But we just want to make America great again. It's pretty damn simple. So if he's going to just kick ass in this second term and roll it all into a third term and keep the party going, forget it, man. I'm happy. Let's go. Okay? And if they can find a legal loophole to do it, by all means, let's go. Okay, here is Steve Bannon says they're working on a way to give Donald Trump a third term in office.
Well, a man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. Oh, you know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue, because I don't want people to listen to our interview and say Bannon's cooking up an insurrection. Bannon is cooking up. You know what I mean? I want people to get a straight take on where your head is. What are you suggesting?
Chris, as you know, I've had greater long shots than this. When we supported President Trump after the election, I realize you don't believe the election in 2020 was stolen. We do. We fervently believe that. When President Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago on January 20th, 2021, he was the longest of long shots to return to the White House. We said that day in our podcast and doubled down, having President Trump's back, that he was coming back not just to win the primary, he would win the White House, and we had to get organized and drive that victory, and also start working on all the policies, what's called Project 2025 or the America First Policy Institute, but all those different think tanks that started putting in the policies that you're seeing today in what we call Flood the Zone or Days of Thunder or however you want to describe it. But this is many years in the making. So we've had greater long shots than Trump 2028, and we've got a lot of stuff we're working on there. We're not prepared to talk about it publicly, but in a couple of months, I think we will be. Well, a man like this.
Bannon's stoking the fire. Trump 2028, he's already calling it. It's just like they're just floating it out there to make everyone freak out. It's just to make everybody freak out. They're just testing the waters, right? How far can they push this thing? How much rhetoric can they spit to make people like Keith Olbermann and Chris Cuomo and Mark Elias and everyone in the mainstream media just have collective meltdowns? It's glorious. Okay, here we have the press secretary. This was 24 hours ago. She was asked a question about the third term.
You guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
Yeah, see, they ask the question, and they melt down when they get the answer. Oh my goodness, how dare he? And all Trump says is, listen, I'm not even focused on that right now. We got 4 years ahead of us. Let's focus on the job at hand. Meanwhile, he's got his surrogates like Bannon out there seeding the waters, saying subtly, Trump 2028. Oh, it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It is a total strategy, and it has the left in absolute meltdown mode. Here is President Trump toying with the media.
Wanting a third term. You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election, was totally rigged.
So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of a country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
An appropriate precedent limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to be?
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a 3rd term?
I don't want to talk about a 3rd term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we do. Most importantly, they love the job we do.
You said you were not joking about a 3rd term, about possibly wanting a 3rd term.
Hey, listen, I'm all for it. Okay? Whether it's trolling or not, let's just get this country back on track. Are you with me on that? They got the surrogates out there dropping these messages. Trump 2028. The media is in total meltdown mode. I mean, it's master level trolling, even if it's not. So, it's not just, though, about constitutional law. It's about psychological warfare. Every time that Trump mentions a 3rd term, he forces the establishment media to reveal their hysteria. While they scream about threats to democracy, they conveniently forget that FDR served 4 terms. They ignore Obama's joke about ruling through a front man with an earpiece. They overlook the left's constant schemes to abolish the Electoral College and pack the Supreme Court. Steve Bannon's cryptic comment that we're working on a way and we've had greater long shots than Trump 2028 has the power brokers trembling. Is there a legitimate constitutional path? A 22nd Amendment loophole? A legal strategy we haven't considered? Or is this simply Trump's masterful way of living rent-free in the minds of those who spent years trying to destroy him? So here's today's uncomfortable question. If the same people screaming about Trump's unconstitutional 3rd term comments were silent when Democrats discussed packing the Supreme Court, are they actually concerned about the Constitution? Or just terrified of Trump? Drop a comment below. Make sure you hit our next news merch shop. It's linked down below. Grab a hat, grab a shirt, and show the world you stand with the real news. All right, folks. I am trying to keep my eye on the sunset as it continues to come down behind me. Wow, what a beautiful day here in sunny Florida. Spring break 2025, and we are live. I just checked the sunset. It looks like the sun is about to set in, let's see, it's 6:30 right now, 7:46. So in just about an hour, the sun is going to hit the horizon behind me, and it is going to be beautiful. Will you see the green flash? Maybe you will. Let's keep going. We got some more news to get to on this beautiful April Fool's Day, but we are not a fool here at the Next News Network. But we do have the countdown to liberation. It is actually happening. Todd, I do want to play some clips from Tom at the White House today. I've got. I need to see. Well, it's kind of hard for me to keep flipping through folders. So this next one, Countdown to Liberation, looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there? And did Tom cover anything on Liberation Day today? I think he did, didn't he? Tom in DC. See, I have to scroll through like a dozen. I don't see a folder called Tom in DC. That's the problem. Okay, it doesn't just refresh. I literally have to like close out the whole app, cancel the app, restart the app, start it over. Okay, there's Tom in DC. Okay, this is a day ago. Globalist, Patriots, Investment Accelerator, Border Lockdown, War on the Deep State 8 hours ago. Smashing the Woke Agenda, Tariffs, Shocker, Crushing It. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe... This one from 8 hours... Oh, wait, oh, God damn it, man. 4 hours ago? No. 1 hour ago? This one from an hour ago looks like it would be related to ICE. Okay, Trump's crushing it. Israel drops all tariffs. Borders locked tighter than Fort Knox. Melania is shining with class. Raskin wants... This looks like an overall. Yeah. I just wish these were... I wouldn't have to be doing this live. I just wish they were just put into their specifically related folders. That way I don't have to try to make a determination. If you could just pick one for this next segment, please, so that I can move along. Capiche?
Bringing you the real deal straight from the heart of power in Washington. And let me tell you, today's a big day. President Trump's making waves as always, and we've got a lot to cover. So buckle up, because this is America First News at its finest. None of these clowns know what we're even talking about.
Todd, which one are we putting in here, please? Dude, I can't... Discord is here. I can't look here. I need to just put it into the folder that it belongs in, please. Because I can't... Dude, there's too much in front of me. Just put it in the folder, in the folder that I'm going to be reading from, please. Thank you. Tomorrow is Liberation Day, America, and it's no ordinary holiday. President Trump is about to sign a game-changing executive order unleashing a global tariff revolution that will shatter decades of economic servitude. The globalist parasites are already panicking, with foreign economic groups launching coordinated campaigns against Trump's plan. But the president isn't backing down. Israel has already eliminated tariffs on American goods, folding before Trump's pen even hits the paper. Redland Cotton founder Mark Yeager confirms that we've known all along the rates we pay to send product to China or India, astronomical. Secretary Wright's prediction: tariffs on U.S. exports will come down across the world, lower energy prices, more investment, more jobs for Americans. This is economic warfare, and America is finally winning. And just as President Trump is liberating America from economic pain with his tariff revolution, you deserve liberation from your physical pain. As our nation breaks free from unfair trade deals, it's time for you to break free from daily suffering with 100% drug-free canalidine. Like Trump's tariffs targeting economic imbalances, canalidine targets pain at its source by activating your body's natural painkillers. While foreign nations have exploited American markets, Big Pharma has exploited Americans with addictive painkillers. But canalidine offers a true revolution in pain relief. Over 1 million Americans, including professional athletes and UFC fighters, have already embraced this liberation. Visit tricano.com/NNN before midnight for a special discount and experience your own Liberation Day from pain. That's tricano.com/NNN. Okay, we've got some big news coming directly from the White House. This is Tom McCullough on the scene. The Trump tariff blitz, Liberation Day is imminent.
Oil patriots out. Hey, hello from the White House. This is Tom McCullough filling in this week for Gary Franchi, bringing you all the live reporting straight from the heart of Washington, D.C. And we're thrilled just to be here delivering the latest updates for all of you loyal patriots out there. And first off, a huge thank you for everyone following the Next News Network. Your support keeps us going strong. And if you love what we're doing, please share our coverage with your friends. Hit the subscribe button, share, text everybody, do whatever you can. We literally cannot do this without you. We're building a movement, and we need you with us every single step of the way. Now, this week, let's talk about what's cooking, because it's going to be a huge week here at the White House, especially for the Trump administration. President Trump is gearing up for some major moves that have everyone buzzing. Word is he's set to roll out his next wave of tariffs, otherwise known as Liberation Day, is what he's calling it, April 2nd, not April Fool's Day. And we're talking reciprocal taxes that could shake up the trade and put America first like never before. And that's not all. Rumors are swirling that Trump might drop some surprises, maybe even hinting at some long-term plans to keep America winning for the American people. We got to get rid of these fake news guys. The man is a powerhouse. He's unstoppable, and the deep state is sweating. So is the fake news. We'll be here covering it all day, every tariff announcement, every bold statement, every moment that makes the left side squirm. You won't miss a thing with the Next News Network on the case. And again, from the White House lawn to your screen, we're bringing you the unfiltered truth. So stick with us, share the word, and let's keep pushing forward. Again, this is Tom McCullough, signing off for right now. We got a lot of big day of news, and we got a huge week of news. So stay tuned and keep sharing everything you can, guys.
Tom McCullough right there at the White House. And here is, let's see, we've got John Fredericks explaining exactly how tariffs work and why Trump is a genius.
Said, this is what I don't understand. The reciprocal tariffs going into place April 2nd, which means if you're tariffing our cars 100%, we're going to tariff your cars 100%. Well, you're already selling the cars in the United States, or whatever the product may be, French wine or whatever, Grey Goose vodka like I drink, right? That comes from France. That's going to go up. So what France has to do is they have to take all their tariffs off on us. So there's no change in prices. The only change is we get now an opportunity to export our manufactured goods into France and Europe and other countries because this is not a punitive tariff. This is meant to eliminate the tariffs on our goods going in. This is why these brain-dead liberals and Republicans don't even understand what this means. It is so infuriating for a protectionist like me that has studied this my whole life, that understands it, to hear the dribble that's going on television. You heard it last night with Laura Ingraham badgering President Trump over this. Like, you don't have a clue, Laura. You have no understanding of what a tariff is and the purpose of it is. and why it didn't raise prices the last time, and it's not going to raise prices again. What it's going to do is get our manufacturing back in. People start opening up plants over and over time. We get our sovereignty back, and we create better jobs, better paying jobs, so people can actually buy the goods. Or the reciprocal tariffs are designed to eliminate tariffs. Because if you're France, let's just take an example. This is how stupid this is. If you're France and you're exporting Grey Goose vodka into the United States, I'm using that example because that's my vodka of choice when it's available. You're exporting Grey Goose, and people like me are buying it, and there's no tariff on it, so it's whatever it is, $35, right? We try to export Tito's, American-made vodka, made for potato. It's not my choice. I don't touch it. I like vodka made from wheat, but that's my choice. A lot of people drink Tito's, right? So the U.S. wants to, the manufacturers of Tito's, they want to export their vodka into France and European countries. Well, there's a 100% tariff on that. So it becomes price prohibitive. You're not going to pay double for Tito's in France what you could pay for Grey Goose, which to me happens to be better, but you're not going to do that. So the manufacturing doesn't happen. The Grey Goose doesn't get there. Does that make sense? Now, if you put a reciprocal tariff on there, all of a sudden, I'm not going to buy Grey Goose at $70. I buy it at $35. I'm not going to buy it at $70. I'm going to switch over to a U.S.-made vodka if they keep the tariff. So then their sales collapse. Just follow me on this. So the France sales collapse. So what is France going to do? They have two choices, right? Raise the tariff more on Tito's, which they would never do. That makes no sense. Or they'll eliminate their tariff on U.S. vodka going in there to zero, and then our tariff on French vodka, Grey Goose, would go down to zero. So it's zero now. It stays at zero. The 100% tariff on our manufactured goods exported to France, which was 100%, goes to zero. The makers of Tito's now have a new market to export their product to, which is now could be purchased by French or European buyers, which then creates more jobs making Tito's vodka. This is what they're meant to do. And the fact that these gangster bankers on Wall Street and bedwetters can't understand this, and shame on Laura Ingraham last night, who doesn't have a freaking clue about what is going on, badgering the president on this, was absolutely unbelievable.
You know, this is exactly what I said in a previous report. You know, I'm not an economist. You know, I'm a reporter. I'm a commentator. You know, it's very simple economics. Okay, it's very basic, reciprocal trade. Okay, and dude, he laid it out perfectly. So it's not rocket science. They're going to open up the global market for all kinds of American products. Reciprocal trade is going to be the great equalizer. That's why it's Liberation Day, because finally American products will be able to be distributed worldwide without having the threat of tariffs from other countries. They're tariffing the crap out of all of our stuff. Right? It's time for equalization and liberation, and that's why it's so important. Let's keep going.
This is what I don't.
Let's keep going here. This is Tom just a couple hours ago. Israel dropping all tariffs on our goods.
Log just 7,000. Hey guys, this is Tom McCullough reporting from the White House with the Next News Network. And check this out. All of today's headlines are wins so far here at the White House. I'm going to be talking you through every single one. So let's go ahead and get started. So first up, Israel. And as of today, April 1st, they've wiped out every single tariff on American goods. That's it. Gone. For years, other countries slapped these on our exports while we just played nice. That's over. Trump's fair trade push is getting results. Israel stepping up, saying, we've got your back, America. That means cheaper goods for them, more jobs for us. It's a total win. So now let's talk about borders. Governor Kristi Noem celebrating under Trump. Our southern border is locked down. Border Patrol logged just 7,181 encounters in March. Under Biden, 160,000 a month. It's absolute, utter insanity. Former ICE Director Tom Homan had a message for the agents making it happen. Let's go ahead and check this out.
The Rochester Police Department is under a lot of scrutiny because they got an officer assist call from ICE, and they showed up for the call. This is what their union is saying, Tom. Let's watch it.
Our policy is also to back up other officers who need help. We report on this all the time about an officer killed during a traffic stop. It is one of the most dangerous times for an officer to have. You have a vehicle that the occupants are refusing to get out. It was a van. Turns out there was 8 people in that van, and our officers did an excellent job of de-escalating that situation.
Tom, aren't you proud of those law enforcement officers for doing their job, answering the call?
Yes, they did, yeah, absolutely. And I met some of those officers at a law enforcement rally down in Tennessee, and I told them I'm coming to Rochester. I promised them I'd come to Rochester and address the issue. Now, I have been told just recently that the leadership at Border Patrol and HSI have met with the chief. And
so that was Tom at the White House breaking it down for us. We have some more on the tariffs. Oh, wait, Canada. Okay, see, this is more of the conversation about milk I was talking about in the previous report. Holy moly, those tariffs. Oh, wait, that's Canada. No one other than Trump's stuck up for America. Watch this.
Actually, tariffs that, would you believe these insane tariffs that the U.S. is bullying Canada with? 250% for milk, 291% for butter, 208% for whey, 241% for cheese. How could we do this to our neighbor? Oh, wait, those are actually tariffs that Canada imposed on the U.S. last year, whereas for the same goods, we imposed the following tariffs. 10% for cheese, 10% for butter, 5% for milk, 0% for whey. It's interesting that since Trump announced tariffs, everyone became an econ PhD who's confident that they know exactly what tariffs will do to the economy. But while you've seen Trump fighting for tariffs, you haven't seen that before no one was fighting for us at all on the global scale. Now, how are tariffs going to affect the whole economy over the next year? I don't know. And no one else does either. But I do know that tariffs got Apple to build a new factory and hire 20,000 more Americans. I do know that the word is that Honda is building 210,000 of their next Honda Civics here in America instead of Mexico and giving Americans jobs. I do know that Taiwan Semiconductor announced that they're going to invest $100 billion to build up 5 new chip factories in the U.S., creating yet more jobs. I do know that tariffs are being used to pressure China, Mexico, and to a lesser extent, Canada, to stop the flow of fentanyl over our border and killing 70,000 Americans a year. Now, here's the thing with tariffs. They're one tactic in an economic strategy, and there are all sorts of ways that that tactic can get used. Sometimes they get deployed for short term, sometimes long term, sometimes they're actually used, and sometimes the threat of them gets used. Sometimes they're used to threaten Russia to end the war. Sometimes they're used to generate revenue from other countries so we don't need to tax our citizens so much. Sometimes they're used so that we support farmers. Sometimes they drive prices up, but wages up too. Is this all making your head spin? Yeah, me too. Because there's a lot to consider. Macroeconomics are complicated, and it takes time to play out. Rather than focusing on every move on the chessboard, we need to all zoom out and ask ourselves, do I think my president wants America to win? Am I listening to people who want my president to fail so that they're proven right, even if that means America goes wrong? Am I willing to tolerate short-term disruption for long-term gain? Look, no one should have blind faith in any leader, but blind negativity just hurts everyone, you included. And remember, if you can't make a strong argument for the opposition against your side, then you're not seeking the truth.
Oh, wow. That was deep, man. Well said, though. 100%. Let's go and take a look at what the press secretary said about 6 hours ago about April 2nd going down as one of the most important days in American history.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, April 2nd, 2025, will go down as one of the most important days in modern American history. Our country has been one of the most open economies in the world, and we have the consumer base hands down, the best consumer base. But too many foreign countries have their markets closed to our exports. This is fundamentally unfair. The lack of reciprocity contributes to our large and persistent annual trade deficit that's gutted our industries and hollowed out key workforces. But those days of America, beginning tomorrow, being ripped off are over. American workers and businesses will be put first under President Trump, just as he promised on the campaign trail. The president's historic action tomorrow will improve American competitiveness in every area of industry, reduce our massive trade deficits, and ultimately protect our economic and national security. President Trump's economic vision is rooted in common sense. America will offer companies the lowest taxes, energy costs, regulations, if they make their products right here in the United States and hire American workers for the job. It's simple. If you make your product in America, you will pay no tariffs. We have already seen a number of the largest companies in the world respond to this economic approach. For example, Project Stargate, led by Japan-based SoftBank and US-based OpenAI, and Oracle, announced a $500 billion private investment in the United States-based artificial intelligence infrastructure. Apple announced a $500 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing and training. NVIDIA announced it will invest hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 4 years in U.S.-based manufacturing. And the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company TSMC announced a $100 billion investment in U.S.-based chips and manufacturing. These are just a few of the investment announcements that have already been made, and it is clear that President Trump's America First approach is already working. Looking ahead to tomorrow, April 2nd, 2025, will go down.
And it's going to be a historic day, and I am here for it. Let's keep going. We've got some more to talk about on this. Here's Brian Glenn at the White House talking about the executive order signing today with Steve Bannon.
We need to hear from President Trump. He did it on the plane yesterday, but we need him in the Oval, taking 5 or 10 minutes, walking through the EO, I think, my recommendation, and then, hey, take all comers. Let the questions flow. Brian Glenn, the pressure on the White House today is a pressure cooker because global markets are on fire right now, sir.
Yeah, and you know what? The timing of this executive order at 5:30, if indeed that's what it is obviously after the market. So we'll give a day for the markets to kind of have that anxiety. What's really interesting, it's been a relatively slow day along Pebble Beach here in front of the White House press-wise. I have seen very little. Normally, where we stand for the War Room hits, there's a lot of journalists around here doing their stand-ups. That has probably been pushed to later this afternoon. Now, I will say this. I have noticed a lot of activity coming in out of the Roosevelt building here, a lot of cars calling up. So, as you said earlier, I would imagine the revolving door in the Oval Office to meet with President Trump, and the phone has probably been pretty active today as every global leader, every CEO, any kind of market analysts have been really wanting to weigh in on this. And I noticed kind of a nationwide campaign, if you will, Steve, of billboards that are slamming tariffs, and they're all over the South. I noticed here on bus bench, digital billboards here in D.C. as well. They're trying to push this, big time, and it's sponsored by Canada. On the bottom of it, it's a Canadian economic group there. Just a mass public relations role on this to basically smear what he's going to do later at 5:30.
I think you have an eye opener on India and Canada and many other nations, but it's more than just Canada. You've got the entire neoliberal order that is all, they're freaking out because they're freaking out seeing how corporate America is responding to this about bringing jobs back.
Well, because it's going to equalize the entire marketplace. They won't be able to control the commerce when it's all equalized. And then because of the reciprocal tariffs is what is going to equalize everything. When you have unfair tariffs, it creates an unfair marketplace. Here's more on the Liberation Day.
The number one holder. Liberation Day is almost upon us. And in case you don't know what that means, allow me to be the one to tell you. Liberation Day starts on April 2nd, once all the tariffs go into full effect, to get our jobs back that were stolen from us. Stolen from us from the likes of Bill Clinton and all those who supported and passed NAFTA in the 90s. Because what it did was it took away all of the wealth from the middle class, which was the number one holder of the wealth in the country at the time. The middle class, the hardworking manufacturing sector. And it displaced that wealth, took it offshore, reduced the wages of the people that they employed, and profits all went to the shareholders and the powers that would be, the president and the politicians on down. Period. Straight thievery. Even Donald Trump has gone as far as to say as much. Not only did it rob the American people and take away the American spirit and the drive, the determination, but the capability to manufacture and provide for ourselves, but it also just enriched the people on the left, the woke, the ideologists, and it emboldened this globalist ideology that you have now seen span across the globe. Take over country after country, ally after ally, to where they're no longer even reminiscent of one another. Upside down will become the new norm. And so because we want our jobs back and we don't want to give our hard-earned money anymore, we don't want to go to war, and we don't want to provide our military, we're the problem and we're the bad guys. Our president got into office and had to pardon Christians that were being persecuted here in America. Our vice president then had to go overseas and tell them, hey, look, the enemy's from within and you're persecuting Christians in your own countries. We had to go as far as to even make our own social networking platforms like True Social, and billionaires had to buy the likes of Twitter in order to give us a voice because we were censored. But none of it makes sense to nobody except for those of us that it makes sense to, because so many people got so stuck in this world of this old adage. Now reality's normal and back to common sense. The basics are here. And when I talk about Liberation Day, or Trump talks about Liberation Day, just a few minutes ago on the news, he was talking about how he doesn't care how much fucking cars are going to cost. Good, because nobody gave a fuck about how many jobs we lost and how much money that our families bled, how much they had to drain out of their own equities of their homes for years and years. And all of a sudden you want me to have compassion in my heart for my neighbors to the north or my neighbors to the south? No. We're getting rid of socialism. We're cutting all these jobs at the federal level. We're going to displace those people, give them viable positions, and these companies will come back. Why will they come back? Because they're making our products, in some cases, for more. Minimum wage in Canada is $17.50 an hour. That's more than an entry-level position for GM or Ford here in America. And down south, beyond the border in Mexico, the federal tax there for our corporations is 30%. So once these taxes get revised, the $4 trillion in tax cuts go into place, Americans can get those jobs back. Recirculable, compounding cash flow. And I'm going to tell you right now, all these naysayers that don't understand how it works, I lived it. Within 3 years' time, if not sooner, you'll start to see and feel the difference of the almighty American economy.
Oh, dude, that guy was on point. Straight up on point. Here's more. This is the document, Israel eliminating tariffs on American goods, reciprocal trade in action, right here, the official document that Tom was talking about. Here's Redland founder Mark Yeager, who said, I think tariffs could help.
That made in America. This is a really interesting perspective, Sandra. I want you to take a look at what's happening behind me, because this is part of a 100% made in America process here at Redland Cotton. The farm here grows the cotton. They mill fabric across the United States. And then these seamstresses are literally cutting and sewing bed linens right here in what they call the cut and sew. This is all part of the vision of Mark Yeager, who is the co-founder of Redland Cotton here in Moulton, Alabama. And Mark, you say that tariffs could actually help your business here in Alabama. Why?
I think tariffs could help. I think we've got nothing to lose by trying them, especially in textiles. If you look at the rates that it would cost us to send our product to China, India, it's astronomical. So the reciprocal thing, I think it could help. I think it could supercharge our industry, more mills in the supply chain, more finishers, right, the whole thing, and make something like this a whole lot more feasible.
This is a really interesting perspective, Sandra. I want you to take a look at what's happening behind me, because this is part of a 100% made in America process here at Redland Cotton. The farm here grows the cotton. They mill fabric across.
Tariffs are going to make America great again. Liberation Day beginning tomorrow. Here's more. Rapid Response 47. Secretary Wright on the tariffs.
Come down. Oh, Stu, I don't think we're going to see energy prices rise. They've already come down in response to President Trump's actions, just his messaging on marketplaces. What you're going to see is tariffs on U.S. exports come down across the world. President Trump's message has been free and fair trade, reciprocal trade. I'm talking to foreign leaders all the time, and they want two key things. They want to buy more American products. I'm talking to them mostly about energy, and they want to invest more dollars in the United States. We've got to remember, this president was elected to lower energy prices. He's been at work on that every single day. And of course, I'm working together with him on it. I'm actually super optimistic about where we're going. We're going to have lower energy prices, more investment in this country, more jobs for Americans. And Trump's central premise was that low-cost energy was good for American citizens, it was good for American security, it was good for America standing abroad, and he is full steam ahead on that agenda. Oh, Stu, I don't think we're going to see...
Full steam ahead, indeed. Here's more. Let's take a look at what is Mr. Wonderful have to say. I love this guy.
Long view.
On
You're
CNN.
saying, hey, let's take the long view, and this is how it's all going to play out. Okay, but why not be intellectually honest about who then is paying the price in at least the short term?
Well, if they have to, in the short term, in the weeks ahead, raise their prices, go ahead, do that. That's very inflationary. I doubt they will. They will be like everybody else. I understand the hysteria. I understand the gnashing of teeth. I understand the uncomfort. And everybody's focusing on this because we're watching sausage being made. We have never imposed tariffs on every country all at the same time. Never been done. Now, you may not like that. That's Trump's style. A lot of people don't like his style. But I don't focus on the noise. I focus on the signal. The signal is we're going to work this out as fast as we can, and we're just negotiating. Now, if you really think that the administration can't wait for hyperinflation and they want to do this intentionally, that's not economic. That's not a sound mind, and they are not dumb. This will get worked out. But I'm just trying to bring some caution into this narrative, saying this is how you negotiate. When I negotiate to buy a plant, I don't go tell them what a great plant it is. I find all kinds of faults with it to tell them why they got to cut the price in half. And then I settle on whatever I can get, maybe a 20% discount. That's exactly what's happening here.
If you're saying, hey, let's take the long view, and this is how it's all going to play out, okay, but why not be intellectually honest about who then is paying the price in at least the short term?
Well, if they have to, in the short term, in the weeks ahead, raise their prices, go ahead, do that. That's very inflationary. I doubt they will. They will be like everybody else. I understand the hysteria. I understand the gnashing of teeth. I understand the uncomfort. And everybody's focusing on this because we're watching sausage being made.
Yep, that's the sound of sausage being made. Everyone's screaming about it, but don't worry, folks. It's all going to work out just fine. Here's Stephen Miller.
Isn't it amazing, Sean? Isn't it amazing, Sean? Think about this. The American defense umbrella, paid for by American taxpayers, single-handedly keeps Canada safe and Europe safe and NATO safe. It's all us, Sean. Without us, these countries have no security net whatsoever. And instead of paying for their own defense, what do they do with our largesse? They use the money they've saved to expand the social safety net for our citizens. Then it gets worse. Then they use price controls to artificially lower the price of drugs that they import, forcing Americans to pay higher prices. They abuse our auto companies, they abuse our manufacturing, and they set unfair trade policies to keep our industries out of their countries while we keep them free, while we protect them from adversaries around the world. And Canada, for example, they charge what roughly amounts to a 15% VAT. We're supposed to be in a free trade deal with Canada. Why are they putting a VAT on every product that we send to Canada? Why are they locking out American agriculture products from their market with outrageously high tariffs? Why are they imposing a digital service tax on our tech industry? Why are they manipulating the supply chains to prevent American auto manufacturing facilities from being in the United States of America? So again, these countries that we are defending, that we are protecting, are taking advantage of us in every conceivable way. And Donald Trump is saying, all those empty factories all across the United States, when you drive through the Rust Belt, you see them, all these hollowed out factories, we're going to bring them humming back to life by having low taxes here, by having...
Oh, man, it's about time. So this is economic D-Day. After decades of watching our factories shutter, our jobs disappear, and our communities collapse under the weight of globalist free trade fantasies, America's finally striking back. The global elite told us this couldn't be done, that tariffs were dangerous, that reciprocal trade was impossible, that America had to accept its economic decline. They were lying. Stephen Miller exposed the truth. NATO countries demand our military protection, while simultaneously slamming tariffs on American goods. It's not just hypocrisy, it's economic warfare against our nation. For half a century, we suffered under what Secretary Wright called rampant offshoring, outsourcing, and deindustrialization. But tomorrow, the tables turn. The predators become the prey. The exploiters become the exploited, and America reclaims its economic sovereignty one tariff at a time. So the controversial question remains. If just the threat of Trump's tariffs is already causing countries like Israel to eliminate theirs, doesn't this prove that America has been voluntarily surrendering its economic power for decades? Comment below. Make sure you check out our Next News swag at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked down below. Grab a hat, grab a shirt, and show the world you stand with the real news. Wow, dude. How absolutely crazy. When you think about it, what these reciprocal trades and tariffs are going to do, it's going to be game-changing. Absolutely game-changing. Okay. Let's get into our next topic. I can't see. I'm sorry. I'm literally sitting on the balcony with the Gulf of America behind me. The sun is setting, and it's just an absolutely beautiful day here in Florida. It's spring break. I'm on a family vacation, but I am here for you, presenting the news as we need. Okay. And let's see. Todd says, I don't mind you calling me out on my show. I think it's funny. But my mom is watching. I love you, Todd. Sometimes I get frustrated, okay? And I'm dealing with so many different technologies here. It's hard to keep track of everything. You know I love you, man. Okay. So let's keep going on here. Okay, so again, super chats. I can't even see. Super chats, where are we? I can't even see my mouse. Okay, mouse. Is that super chat right there? I think that's super chat. Is that super chat? I can't see. What is this? That's chats. I can't see. I can't call out the super chats, Brian. I thought I saw. Okay, there's one. Tom B420. 5. Okay. Hey, Gary, all caps. I'm not mad. Thank you, Tom B420. Yes, when you bring it up like that, I can see it. Thomas Fooch, $10. Trump is the master at trolling. Yes, he is. Yeah. For Ranger Xbox has been gifted a membership from David. And David also was gifted a membership. What's up, David? Welcome. You know, he gifted one membership. And is that it? I think so. Oh, wait. Gabe gifted a membership. Was gifted a membership. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to go through everyone who received the gift. I just need to go through the super chats. And the person who provided the gift. That's going to be the easier way to do this. Thank you, Brian. Okay, let's go to our next topic here. Okay. Gary Franchi here, Next News Network. It is a beautiful day here in Florida. I'm sitting right on the coast of the Gulf of America, and Elon Musk just dropped a bombshell that should terrify every American who values truth. The U.S. government deleted a terabyte of financial data to cover their crimes. But they don't understand technology, so we recovered it. That's right, a terabyte of evidence nearly destroyed by the very people sworn to uphold our laws. And what's inside this digital treasure trove? Well, according to the insiders at DOGE, millions of illegal immigrants are on taxpayer-funded benefits set up to collect maximum payouts while you struggle to make ends meet. Worse yet, evidence is suggesting many voted illegally in 2024 as well. Well, President Trump immediately backed Musk's efforts, calling him amazing, very smart, he's done a good job, but the deep state is not surrendering without a fight. They're now targeting Tesla owners in what can only be described as technological terrorism. While Elon Musk is exposing data corruption in government systems, there's another hidden threat lurking in your daily life: corruption of your testosterone levels. Just as deep state operatives tried deleting terabytes of incriminating financial data, there's one unexpected food silently destroying your hormonal health. The real shocker, it's not what you think. Just as government officials don't understand technology, according to Musk, most men don't understand is what's actually draining their testosterone. This one supposedly healthy food is scientifically proven to devastate testosterone levels, and you're likely eating it several times weekly. Cutting this single item from your diet could transform your energy, motivation, and physical performance faster than Musk recover that deleted government data. To discover what this testosterone-killing food is, visit sculptnation.com/NNN before the establishment buries this information too. Okay, let's get into it. Tom McCullough reporting directly from the White House as anti-Elon protesters going absolutely insane. Listen to this.
Hey guys, the audio is going to be terrible, but we're just walking back over to get a reporter into the White House with us, Miss Corinne. She's going to be staying out today. And as we were getting ready to walk in, we saw all these nice paid former federal workers talking over here. Ho, ho. I guess they're all a little upset that their honeypot's going to be gone now. Federal workers here to stay. Federal workers here to stay. So as you guys can see, George Soros money is definitely at work here in Washington, D.C. They're spelling corruption as E-L-O-N. We both know the truth. Things are crazy, guys. Hopefully we don't have another summer of love coming up. And I know the video is super shaky. My gimbal stabilizer's back at the White House. And all these wannabe protesters. Oh, there's a personal message here, guys. They're probably going to pray to some spaghetti monster. All right, God bless, and let's keep up the good work, and hopefully Elon Musk cuts all this crap out.
Tom McCullough on the scene at the White House, and you can see all those paid protesters. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the people say they don't have a job. Well, they do have a job. They're gainfully employed by George Soros. And we're learning this, a question being raised, Elon Musk stepping down from DOGE. Well, we do know that he did put an expiration date on DOGE's efforts. I think it was June of this year. Well, let's just hope and pray that we can get all the corruption done beforehand. But if he can set it up and then let it go into motion and step back and keep the Doge boys in play, he's very easily can step back with no problems. Let's listen.
Elon Musk. So it is being reported that Elon Musk will be stepping down from Doge at the end of May. And while there will be speculation that he did so under duress because of the pressure that he has received from his companies, the truth is that Elon was a special government employee, which means he could only work for 130 days. And then beyond that, he has to become a government employee. And that just doesn't make sense for Elon Musk. He has XAI, he's got X, Starlink, Neuralink, SpaceX, you name it. So his time is better served focused on his own companies and his innovations. But I want to personally thank Elon Musk for shedding light on Doge. Clearly his team is competent and professional, not a bunch of 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 19-year-old tech geeks. They're accomplished individuals. And the mismanagement and the waste, fraud, and abuse was staggering. And I hope that every administration going forward keeps DOGE on, because it is so important. Americans work so hard for their tax dollars, and to watch it being pissed away is criminal in of itself. So that's the latest on the Elon Musk story and DOGE. So it is being reported that Elon Musk will be stepping down from DOGE.
Just as I said, June is the expiration date, it appears. So the end of May. We're going to wait and see what happens, but if the ball's in motion with DOGE, we have nothing to worry about. Elon Musk says that the U.S. government deleted a terabyte of financial data to cover their crimes. Wow, someone is going to be arrested tomorrow for stealing 400,000 social security numbers and selling the information. Here's Elon Musk.
Identification information in fact, I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow. This is someone who actually stole 400,000 social security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database, and was selling social security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. And this is like, by the way, a particular avenue of fraud for like illegal immigrants and for voter fraud, because the main way that identification is established in the United States is via Social Security. So if you compromise the Social Security system, you can basically get people to get de facto registered to vote, even if they're not citizens, and to get a bunch of benefits and to milk the system. It's pretty insane. Like the Democrats basically taken every part of the government that could possibly be bent towards providing financial incentives for illegal immigrants to come to and remain in the United States, whether it's Social Security, disability, Medicare, unemployment, even like IRS refunds without any income. It's wild. The diverted FEMA funds, which is supposed to be for helping Americans in distress from natural disasters, to pay for luxury hotels in New York for illegals to stay there. In fact, they're still there. Those hotels are still active. In fact, I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow.
Well, let's just hope and pray that someone is finally arrested, because there needs to be accountability. When you have this level of fraud and corruption that's occurring in this country, and it just continues without any accountability, there's nothing stopping these people. There's no fear, because no one ever gets caught. No one ever goes to jail. Every system of this government has been exploited. Loopholes exploited, everything. And these hotels are still operating. Misappropriation of funds. Man, it's disgusting to consider that this continues to happen here. Let's take a look. We have this clip here. This is from Geiger Capital. Antonio Gracias has been helping DOGE at Social Security and found that millions of the illegal immigrants let in by the Biden administration are on taxpayer-funded benefits programs. They were set up to collect max payouts. He also found that many voted in 2024.
2.1 million in 20. We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed this in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which is to appear at a judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we've mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep.
No.
They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. Right. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote. In this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already. That is already happening. We started at the top of the system.
Oh, man, it's about time. Referred to prosecution. Oh, thank God, man. You know, if Trump didn't win, if we didn't have Elon Musk and his team uncovering this stuff, we would have been so screwed for decades. There would have been no unwinding this mess. Oh my goodness, just seeing this clip alone, I mean, it gives me so much hope that we can finally get to the bottom of this and we can just cut this out like a tumor. My God. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Here's more. Jasmine Crockett. Oh, what's she? Oh, she's being investigated by DOGE. Yeah, thankfully. Good.
Well, Jasmine. Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the attention of DOGE after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Elon posted on X the other day, well, Jasmine, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you've purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house and another house you bought for $1.5 million. So Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?
Yeah, how did you buy it? Looks like she's under investigation now. Here's a Carle Bonet. Elon's wild stat on government contracts.
We were just talking about this.
We were with Elon just now.
We were just with Elon in the West Wing.
An incredible stat. He said, I'm not going to name the firm so that I don't want to, but he said this one organization gets 98% of their revenue.
I was in the newspaper, so we can say it. It's Booz Allen.
Exactly. So we were talking about this, and then we were going through the numbers on the other firms, and it's just the whole thing.
It's
is
shocking.
Just incredible.
What kind of risk management is that, by the way?
Yeah. Right.
But it tells you that they didn't manage the risk.
That's right.
Tells you how entrenched they believe they were,
and how good it is for them.
And how good it is.
You're absolutely right.
And the way the grift works, you can only have 6-month contracts, but there are people who have had 46-month contracts.
Incredible.
Like they've been in situ for 20 years.
Incredible.
And they just keep re-upping the contracts. Wow, there's so much to get to. Pam Bondi just filed massive charges against a Tesla attacker, Cooper Frederick. Frederick firebombed a dealership in Loveland, Colorado to protest Elon Musk. He's facing 20 years in prison. George Beasy posting this.
Tesla attacker. I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars. Today, I'm proud to announce that the Department of Justice has unsealed federal charges against another Tesla attacker. We've charged Cooper Frederick in a firebombing of a Tesla dealership that occurred on March 7th in Loveland, Colorado. All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide. Justice is coming.
And to what end was that? You're going to firebomb a Tesla facility because you don't like what Elon Musk and the DOGE boys are doing in D.C.? Okay, we covered this before. Elon only owns 12% of Tesla. You're not hurting Elon Musk. The guy is well diversified. Okay, you're only hurting yourself. Every Tesla vehicle has cameras all around it. You look like morons when your faces show up on X all day long and people are hunting you down because they can now figure out who you are. It's ridiculous. And now, well, we have one person facing 20 years in prison. Here's one. Tariffs administers a major burn to the liberal Tesla car keying commandos.
I raised their...
Tyrus, what would you do if someone keyed your car?
Oh.
What if they thought you were,
What do I typically do when someone keys my car? I raise their children. Why you got to get those keyless fobs? Listen, just some words of advice here. If you're going to be a thug, if you're going to go out and do covert operations, maybe not wear your favorite fruity pants that day.
Yes, orange pants.
Like, wow, between orange guy and
pajama boy.
Pajama guy.
Fish, yeah.
Like, aren't you the party of masks?
Yeah.
Like, morons. Like, this one stares right into it. You didn't even need a mugshot. Just take the one from the car. And the other guy thinks because he has glasses on, no one's going to see him in his hot orange pants. And then has the nerve when the police says, "We have it on camera." Huh? Yeah. Like, fellas, if you're gonna be warriors, dress up. This is why I got so offended when they were like, "Hey, we got to watch the Republicans. They're in the hills training for Civil War." We're gonna train for that.
Tyrus.
I love Tyrus, man. That's the thing. These liberals are so stupid. They're going around destroying Tesla vehicles, thinking they're going to get away with it. Here's Tesla owners of Silicon Valley When will the attacks on Tesla owners stop? The violence is increasing on private citizens who bought a great product with no political affiliation. Sad to see it's turning to this. Look at this Tesla vehicle. Completely spray painted and destroyed. The windows smashed out. Why? Because Elon Musk is uncovering the waste, fraud, and abuse in the swamp. Oh yeah. Let's keep going here. It never ends. Here we have Natalie Winters, what they're doing at Teslas right now.
The actual support. Just remember, what they're doing to the Teslas right now is essentially what they want to do to you, the actual supporters of President Trump. I guess the Teslas are just standing in the way. But if you really, I think, analyze what Rep. Jayapal said, some other quotes that I think are just important for context, quote, allow that person to continue to have power. She also references taking down a dictatorship and talks about essentially getting ahead of these protests turning violent, which is stochastic terrorism to its core, the idea that, oh, well, our movements are going to be hijacked by people who are violent. It's not us. We don't have anything to do with them. What you just witnessed, this is not talking about protest or civil disobedience or a couple of young women marching around the National Mall saying that they like feminism. This is the USAID deep state globalist playbook of regime change, where they spend overtime amounts of hours. They work in overdrive to depict regimes or rulers that they view as dictatorial, autocratic, authoritarian. Why? So then they have what they would describe as the moral or political justification to then oust them from power. And Representative Jayapal is busy hosting, and we'll get into who exactly is funding these organizations after the break, but these not town halls or meetings, they call them training sessions. She told the nation that she wants her supporters, quote, strike ready and should be preparing for violent conflict on these training sessions where they're working with, you guessed it, USAID, Chinese-funded Harvard Institute professors, not to understand how to democratically protest, but they're essentially playing out whether or not terrorism, violent action, or nonviolent action are the most successful tactics to bring about their goals.
Unbelievable. But it's all getting exposed. That's the thing. See, they think they're doing it, in secret. But we catch them every single time. Here's Scott Jennings stunning a CNN panel.
It is. What is the end of Western civilization? Explain that.
I mean, it is the future of Western civilization all over this world is in the balance right now. When you look at what's going on in Europe, they're throwing political opposition in jail. Free speech is under assault everywhere you turn. I mean, everything that we have built in this country, the tenets of Western civilization, the fundamental values that the country has been built on, Republicans and conservatives believe are under assault. The November election was the beginning of the pushback on that assault, but it's not over.
You mentioned what is the end of Western civilization? Explain that.
I mean,
well, when you go ahead and delete people's speech, the underpinnings of the Western civilization is constitutional Bill of Rights. I mean, we are the bedrock of Western civilization, and a lot of people have emulated that for decades. And it's slowly being eroded. I mean, look at the countries that have already outlawed guns, okay? I mean, the United Kingdom, they just outlawed knives. Like, after they outlawed guns, what happened? Knife attacks went on the rise. And now they're going to outlaw knives. What are they going to do? Outlaw fists next? That's how ridiculous it is. Here is Sebastian Gorka's take. He says he's impressed with Elon Musk's take on the war in Ukraine. Never a truer word.
Ever. Those who virtue signal and say, oh, we can't give in to Russia, but have no solution to stopping thousands of kids dying every day. They just want that to continue forever. I have contempt for such people. I don't want to make that clear. Because their virtue signaling and their lack of a solution means that kids don't have a father. It means that parents lost a son. For what? Nothing. We should have empathy for the thousands of people that are dying every day in trenches, for no movement in the lines. So the borders remain the same. For the past 2 years, thousands of people have died every week for nothing. For what? And I take great offense at those who put the appearance of goodness over the reality of it. Those who virtue signal and say, oh,
yeah, that's what it's about. Changing your Facebook profile picture to have a Ukrainian flag as if you're standing for democracy. But what about all the people that are dying and all the money that's being spent everywhere? Here is someone who says, I wish this message will find its way to the whole country. Elon, please make it happen.
Received money. Has the DOGE team found any evidence that any of the radical left Democrats like Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer have received money directly from USAID? And if so, will we be hearing about that evidence anytime soon?
Yeah. So there is a massive amount of corruption, but it is circuitous. So what happens is there's money that, obviously it's your taxpayer money, that is then sent to various government organizations who then send it to NGOs, which an NGO is a non-governmental organization, but obviously if it's a government-funded non-governmental organization, it's just an organization, it's just a government. And effectively there's a giant fraud loophole, which is that the government can send money to an NGO that is then no longer governed by the laws of the United States. So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then it'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is...
Dude, we've been saying this forever. We have been suspecting it, alleging it forever. All that money going overseas and then just coming back in the form of kickbacks to all of the Democrats and think tanks and then the lobbyists, and then the whole cycle continues. We've been saying it forever. Ever. And, you're a conspiracy theorist if you go ahead and bring up these questions, bring up these allegations. Well, now it's all here. It's all in black and white. They've uncovered it all.
Circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah.
Has the DOGE team found any?
Yeah, so it's happening. It's all getting exposed in real time. You know, even with DOGE has an expiration date, these efforts need to go down to the state level as well. Here's President Trump talking about Elon is amazing.
And so it's Elon Musk's special government tenure is coming to an end, 130 days, I think another month.
Yeah.
Do you want him to stay longer, or is it time for him to go back to running his companies in Europe?
Well, I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run, and so at some point he's going to be going back. He wants to.
Would you want to keep him around?
But I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. He's a very talented guy. You know, I love very smart people, and he's very smart, and he's done a good job. You know, DOGE is, we've found numbers that nobody can even believe, like 400 billion, 500 billion. It could be close to $1 trillion by the time they end on different things. And he's led the charge, and you've seen a lot of his people. And these are people that joined up. I would say they're high IQ people. I like high IQ people. And they've done a great job. No, at some point, Elon's going to want to go back to his company. I will say he's got, despite the way he's been treated, so he's an American patriot.
He's an American patriot, no doubt. The sacrifices he's making. It's very reminiscent of the sacrifices Donald Trump made when he decided to run for office. He didn't need to do it. He didn't need the glory. He didn't need the prestige of running for president. He didn't need it all. He could have just gone and retired and gone golfing the rest of his life. Same thing with Elon Musk. He didn't need, the richest man in the world. Do you think he really needed to throw himself in front of the swamp and find out where all the bodies are buried, where all the money is going? No, he didn't need to. But he did it because he's an American patriot. Here's this one. Talking to a retired woman at a Tesla takedown day in Santa Monica. Listen.
Good. What do you do for work? Are you retired?
I'm retired now. Yeah, I think most of the people here are retired, and I'd like to see a lot more young people out.
What do you think about Elon Musk giving Starlink to Ukraine?
Giving Starlink to Ukraine.
So they can have access to internet.
Well, I don't think he would ever do that.
No, he did.
He did? When did he do that?
A couple years back. Once the war broke out.
Are they still able to use it?
Yes.
Oh, well, I think that's a good thing. I'm surprised it hasn't been taken back.
Look at that. We're finding good common ground for everyone today. So would you be willing to thank Elon Musk today?
That's an iffy. No, I don't think so.
Despite him giving internet access to Ukraine?
No. He needs to get out of our government. We didn't elect him. He needs to go. And
what do you think of Dr. Fauci?
I love Dr. Fauci.
Do you think we elected him?
He was appointed by our president, so I think all he did was speed up the vaccination. I'm a registered nurse, so I really believe in vaccinations. And
how many vaccines have you had?
Of COVID, I've had about 5 now, and I'm going to get my next one next week. So, and I haven't gotten sick. I've been very careful, very clean, and I haven't gotten sick.
No mask on today.
No, I'm outdoors. I usually don't wear one outdoors.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but I do indoors still when I go to public places. But vaccines get a bad rap, but they're not 100%.
Are you worried about RFK?
Oh my goodness, man. Talk about exposing the hypocrisy. Well, Fauci wasn't elected either, right? Oh my goodness. So I think we have, here's some more. Early Tesla employee Elon hires good people and lets them do their thing. Everyone respects him.
What was that like working for Elon?
It was fun.
Yeah.
He's an off. If Elon's micromanaging you, you're probably on your way out because he hires good people and let them do their thing. He's smart, but he also knows how to hire smart people.
Was he social in the workspace, or does he kind of keep to himself?
He wasn't social at all. I mean, he would talk to you if he needed to talk to you, but he didn't just go BS with people at all. I mean, even in meetings, he was...
Would he ever joke around or anything?
I never saw it.
So he was very stoic and strict.
He was very, I think he was very disciplined. I stayed in the Fremont Marriott Hotel for almost 6 months straight while they were setting up the factory and stuff. And Elon's kids stayed there too. And, one of the respectful things that everybody at Tesla did, which I thought was just, without even saying it, he had this if you go to the Fremont Marriott Hotel and you go in the front door and hard to the right, there's a bunch of little cubby you can sit back in the corner back there. That's where him and his kids went. And you know what? Nobody disrespected him. Nobody went over there and talked to him. When he was with his kids, nobody said a word. The place was quiet. Everybody catered to him, to his kids and him. And it was just, I admire the guy for the way he took care of his kids. It was, that's the side of Elon and not everyone gets to see.
What was that like working?
So the digital battleground is where the future of America will be decided. When Elon Musk announced someone is going to be arrested tomorrow for stealing 400,000 Social Security numbers, he wasn't just exposing a crime. He was declaring war on the shadow government. The regime's response? Tesla owners across America are being targeted, their vehicles vandalized, their property destroyed. In Colorado, a man firebombed a Tesla dealership to protest Elon Musk. He's facing 20 years in prison. This isn't random vandalism. It's coordinated terrorism. So here's the question. If the government's willing to delete a terabyte of financial data to hide their crimes, what else have they erased from history? Drop a comment below and stand with digital freedom with our next news Gear Mag Avengers collection featuring Elon Musk and Ron Paul. It's an original. You can find it right here at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Show the world you stand with real news. Look behind me, guys. The sun is setting. Yep, you can see it right there. It's just a sliver of the sunset. Look at that right behind us. Beautiful day here. Coming to an end over the Gulf of America. And the Associated Press is still on the outs at the White House because they refuse to acknowledge this body of water as Donald Trump has used his statutory authority to rename this body of water. Look at that. Oh, and I can see my monitors now because the sun is setting. Oh, wow. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this setup here? We're only going to be here for a couple more days. I figured let's have some fun. Let's go live from the Gulf of America because, hey, we're all part of history right now. And it's exciting to be here with you guys. Okay, let's see. Beautiful day indeed. I can see it. Gary, just beautiful. I like it. It's beautiful, Gary. Thank you for all you're doing. Careful what you wish for. Stop it, Gary, please. I'm a Florida boy trapped in Connecticut. All right, let's see. How is the lighting here? Let's see if the lighting is any better. Is the lighting okay? Looks okay. It's hard. It's hard for me to see like some because I got the light on my face. It's hard for me to see the shadows. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Pretty soon it's going to be dark behind me.
It was fun.
And you're not going to see anything. So let's get into our last topic of the evening. And you can, I mean, people are still out on the beach. They're watching the sunset. It's something beautiful to witness here. Okay, we got some more news to get to. Let's jump into it. I guess I can actually see the super chats now. Okay, going to see if there's anything that come in. Okay, Alice Cersei, well said, Gary. 1999. What's funny is that I've got like all these bright lights blasting. I'm like people are behind me with their kids. They're like, playing in the water. And can you hear the water behind me? I don't know. Can you hear it? You can hear this. Oh, that's so cool. You guys can hear it. You can hear the kids. That's so awesome. Is it distracting though, or is it adding to the atmosphere? Okay, all right. We've never done this before, so I just thought I would ask. Okay. People run around on golf carts everywhere. So cool. Okay, let's get to our next. So, Todd, what is this? A cop running full speed. Stolen car. You want me to play this now? It's not ICE related. Okay. All right. Why not play it up front? Okay. Do we have any Tom clips in this? Any Tom clips that we can share? If you can give me a Tom clip, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Wow. This is so cool. Yeah, this is not green screen, guys. This is actual real life behind me. Michael says, love the background sounds of the ocean. Angie in the house, she does exist. Angie, come over here. Say hello. Angie, come here. They want to see you. Such a cool location, says Matt X. Where are you? Okay, I'm just waiting for Todd to give me one more. Here she is.
Sit?
Here, come here. You want to sit?
I can't. Can you see me?
There.
Oh my gosh, I'm here.
Here.
This is cool.
Here, I'll see if I can scoot over.
Oh man, we're back, Gary. We're back.
Look who it is.
Hi,
Look who I
everybody.
picked up on the beach.
Oh man, it's good. It's good. It's good to be here. What's going on?
I want to see Angie. Please bring her out for a minute, says Patty.
Thanks, Patty. A
The waves are soothing, says Jerome.
little different, right? It's kind of nice. It's really nice.
Cindy
It's not
says,
kinda
hey,
nice.
Angie. We all hear the ambiance.
Thanks, Cindy. This is.
Are you having fun, Angie, says Karen.
I am. I feel really blessed that I can be here and be able to bring work and our family and just, we needed it. Kids needed to dip their feet in the sand. We made it work. Yeah.
It's a lot to balance, I'll say.
I think we're doing a pretty good job.
I think so.
We've been really overwhelmed.
Hey, Todd, this is blasting in my ear, so I'm not sure what you're up to, but... Okay, so where's this going?
Well, I feel like I'm behind the scenes with you guys. I'm going to share what I see here.
Okay, Brian's adjusting something here. Okay.
Brian. Isn't Brian amazing, you guys?
Is that better now?
He's just incredible. We couldn't do this without him.
Let's see. She's
And
too
Todd.
pretty for you, Gary.
Uh-oh.
Have fun with your time there, says Jerome. So glad to see you guys together.
Thank you, thank you.
Keep on keeping on, my friend. Gary is a good provider. You need to set up a permanent studio there. You can write off this vacation.
I like that.
Yes, Brian is amazing. Facts. Thank you as well, Brian.
This is awesome.
Okay. All right. The ocean waves are soothing. They can hear the waves.
I'm glad you guys can hear that. I think with the heaviness that we cover day to day, just being able to have that, it's like, it's therapeutic.
It is.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild being here and then DC. It's such an unimaginable trip.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
Being like in Washington, in DC, and it's like breakneck speed every single day, every minute. And then here, it's like everything's so chill, but then we're still monitoring every single piece of the news, tracking our team in DC. And Todd and Brian and the whole team, like everyone like coalescing together to put this show together. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible what we as a team have been able to achieve in just 3 months?
Yeah.
3 months?
Yeah.
It's like we hit the ground running real quick. Like once we had the opportunity to grow just even an inch, it was like game on.
Yeah.
Game on. We're that hungry and that passionate to be able to do this and continue to deliver the news to you guys, because you have been incredible supporters for us. Like your family. You guys have been with us from the beginning. Especially to those who have been with us from the beginning. I know there's many nights where I haven't been there, and you've been there with Gary, and you pulled him through. So thank you for that. Thank you to each and every one of you. Anyway, I'm going to get emotional.
All right, I got to hit topic 5.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. The mango whiskey, Brian said. How funny.
We need some.
Yeah, we don't have any mango whiskey at the moment. Okay, let me just check my shots here just to make sure. Okay. All right, I think we're centered up again. Okay, you guys asked for Angie. I delivered. There she is. All right. Brian, let's roll. The border crisis is finally ending, and the liberal elite are having complete meltdowns. Border crossings plummeted a staggering 94% since Trump retook office. Pete Hegseth explains why. Illegals are scared because there are consequences now. But here's the bombshell. Instead of celebrating safer American communities, Democrat Representative Jamie Raskin is actually demanding that MS-13 gang members deported to El Salvador be returned to the United States. You heard that right. While the Atlantic sheds crocodile tears over a poor father separated from his family, they conveniently omit that he's a machete-wielding MS-13 member who repeatedly skipped court dates. The hypocrisy is breathtaking, but the pattern is clear. Democrats are prioritizing violent foreign criminals over American citizens. While President Trump deports MS-13 criminals to make America safer, the legendary Chuck Norris has been working on his own strategy for personal security and strength. Even at 84 years old, just as the Trump administration is enforcing borders and ensuring MS-13 members face consequences, Chuck Norris has identified 3 critical threats sabotaging your body as you age. Instead of allowing violent criminals into our neighborhoods, we should follow Chuck's example of maintaining personal strength and vitality. Like those deported gang members who thought they'd never face justice, many Americans believed declining energy and strength were inevitable. But Chuck proves otherwise. Even liberal lawmakers would be impressed by how Chuck maintains the energy to protect himself at his age. Discover his method at chuckdefense.com/next and secure your personal defensive capabilities just as Trump secures our borders. Now, let's get into it. We've got some this is wild, okay? This just came in. Now, it's not exactly a deportation video, but it gives you the idea of what exactly is happening. They both trained for this. That cop was running full speed with 30 pounds of gear on. This is going viral right now. Check this out.
Dead end. There you go. Out and running. And the car's still on. And running. Yep, car's still going, but it's kind of bumped into some gating right there. Wow, look at this guy go 15 miles an hour. I love Sky Fox in attack. He's holding it. I couldn't do that. I'm out of breath just watching. And he's continuing on. Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what? That wheelchair, definitely not for him. If that was in the back of that car, I can tell you that. And, you know, this is one of the ones. He's running through that neighborhood. LAPD not going to be able to follow with a car. I can hear the helicopter calling out streets. They're going to keep an eye on it. This might turn into something else. And the speeds of this guy. Look at this. Like, oh my goodness. He's slowing down a little bit. But how long has he been running? Almost 30 seconds, maybe a minute, flat out. This guy has got some energy. That is for sure. LAPD, though, I hear the ship in my other ear. He's calling out locations and streets. I know there's a black and white might be getting close by. Now my concern is if he tries to get into somebody's home. What? There's an LAPD officer behind him. Oh my gosh. How far has this guy been running? Oh, this is you know what? I think in the end they're just going to call up. Taser's out for sure. And he's going to tase him. Oh, tase him on the run. Oh. Boom! Boom! Right behind a tree. Always behind a tree. There you go. But he's scared. They got him down. I do not think they tased him. But you got this guy on the ground. Dead end. There you go. Out and running. And the car's still on. Running.
Wow.
The car's still going, but it's kind of bumped into some.
Yeah, that's basically like every deportation that's happening in this country right now. We have more from the White House. Here's Tom. Trump's war on the deep state rages.
Wisconsin. Hey guys, this is Tom McCullough reporting from the White House with the Next News Network. And guys, it's April 1st, 2025, April Fool's Day, and the biggest joke is the liberals thinking they can stop Trump's agenda. So let's go ahead and jump into the news for this morning. Wisconsin's front and center. The Supreme Court election is happening right now, and if you're there, go vote. This isn't just about a judge. It's about keeping America free from the woke mob. Trump's all in for Brad Schimel. He's a no-nonsense conservative who'll defend your rights. The left wants that court to shove their wild ideas down your throat, abortion everywhere, rigged districts, and Schimel's the guy to block them. Elon Musk is throwing money behind this, and Trump's endorsement says it all. And so Wisconsin, get out and vote. Your country is literally depending on you right now. Get out there and vote, guys. Tell your neighbors, your friends, text everybody, get it done. So yesterday, Trump dropped a hammer. He used the Alien Enemies Act to ship 17 MS-13 gang members back to El Salvador. 17 violent punks gone. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt in yesterday's noon briefing called it justice for Americans. And that's spot on. These aren't sweet kids, they're dangerous. Trump's fixing what Biden broke, and it's a beautiful thing. The left cries about kindness, but what Trump's showing is real guts. America first, no apologies. And they don't show kindness to our people when they murder them. And tomorrow's April 2nd is Liberation Day. Trump slapping 20% tariffs on most imports.
So that's Tom's report from the White House today. Here's Karl Rove. Gunter Eagleman says, shit for brains. Karl Rove tried to press Tom Homan about due process for the criminal aliens deported by CCOT. Tom rightfully pointed out that Lake and Riley had zero due process. Oh man.
Do they get a chance to prove that before you take them out of the country and put them in to a notorious prison in a country that they're not even from? I mean, do they have any due process at all?
Confidence. Look, due process. Where was Lake and Riley's due process? Where were all these young women that were killed and raped by members of TDA? Where was their due process?
Well, the people that did that should be prosecuted.
Alive on a subway. Where's her due process?
Well, sure.
The bottom line is that plane was full of people designated as terrorists. Number one. Number two, every Venezuelan migrant on that flight was a TDA member based on numerous criminal investigations, on intelligence reports, and a lot of work.
Do they get a chance to prove that before you?
Yeah. Did Lake and Riley have due process? No. Not at all. And here is, he wants them back. Ultra-liberal Representative Jamie Raskin demands gang members and criminals deported by the Trump administration be returned to the United States. I mean, how can this guy even argue this?
Unlawfully take
while appealing whichever ones they want to appeal, and to demand the return of people unlawfully taken to El Salvador on that so-called plane full of gangbangers. And I especially, while appealing...
Wow. He's defending gangbangers. Here's a Stephen Miller friendly reminder. If you illegally invaded our country, the only process you're entitled to is deportation. I love it. J.D. Vance tweeting out this. Just 9 hours ago, Joe Biden sanctioned the invasion of the United States. We have approximately 20 million illegal aliens in this country. Their victims are measured in longer wait times for hospitals, overwhelmed schools, and murder victims the media largely ignored. The media has determined the real victims are the gang members we're trying to get out of this country. How disgusting is that? Let's keep going. Here's Pete Hegseth said this. Proud of the role the Department of Defense has played in these historic numbers. Illegals should be scared. There are consequences now because we are locking down the border. He was quote tweeting the New York Post. Illegal border crossings hit stunning new low in March, down 94% in a year because migrants are scared there are consequences. That's the way you do it. Oh my goodness. Here's more from Libs of TikTok posting that clip again. Jamie Raskin defends the deported MS-13 gang members who repeatedly skipped court. Unreal.
The District of Columbia, who created by Congress. Well, the majority says it's because these are radical judges. And they lead off, as our good Chairman Issa did, with Judge Jeb Boasberg, the chief judge of the District Court of the District of Columbia, who enjoined the mass roundup and deportation of immigrants to an infamous El Salvadoran prison in peacetime without any due process at all, allegedly under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a statute explicitly limited to wartime and military invasion. Some of our colleagues have been railing against Judge Boasberg for ordering the planes to be turned around. They say those planes were filled with terrorists, I think my good friend from Texas said. Well, here's one person of many who wasn't a terrorist on that flight or a gangbanger. His name's Kilmer Garcia. He's a Marylander married to a U.S. citizen who has a 5-year-old son with autism. And he went to pick up his son, but he was picked up first by ICE. And then he was shackled and put on that airplane and shipped off to the torturers of El Salvador without ever having the benefit of those two most beautiful words in the English language, due process.
Okay, but was he an illegal? I mean, was he here illegally? Do we address that point? Was he breaking the law?
He never saw a judge. Nobody ever told him what he was being charged for. Nobody ever told him that there were any charges against him. And he was sent to a mega prison run by the self-proclaimed dictator of El Salvador. And yesterday, you know what happened, Mr. Chairman? The Trump administration admitted that it had made a mistake. He was not actually a gangbanger. He was not a criminal. It was all a mistake. If there'd been due process, maybe that would have been determined, but there wasn't. But they put him on that plane in El Salvador. Well, all's well that ends well, right? No. The administration says there's nothing they can do about it now because he's no longer in U.S. custody. This guy who lives in my state, married to a U.S. citizen with citizen children, he's stuck with the dictator of El Salvador. Well, created by Congress.
Okay, so can't Trump just make a phone call? If it was a mistake, if they admitted a mistake, I think he could make a phone call and reverse that. But my question is still, is this guy an illegal or not? Why was he rounded up to begin with? Okay, here is the press secretary just a few hours ago laying out why the Trump administration is prioritizing the removal of MS-13 terrorists.
They hacked 4 people to death with, and let me tell you why we've made this commitment. MS-13, may I remind each and every one of you, is a brutal and vicious gang. They raped and strangled a 20-year-old autistic woman to death in Maryland. They hacked 4 people to death with machetes in a park on Long Island. They have kidnapped, sexually tortured, and...
Okay, I can't even play it. I remember watching this live when she was talking about it. It's just too much. Too much. I mean, I'm a pretty, hardened kind of guy. I can handle a lot of this stuff. I compartmentalize it pretty well. But even the stuff that I'm hearing these MS-13 guys doing is just too much for me to even handle. You know, I'm trying to watch this stuff, and I got, like, family around. Like, they're talking about the brutality of MS-13. It's just too much. Let's take a look at this one.
This administration would like to point out that if you just saw the headline from the insane, failing Atlantic magazine this morning, you would think this individual was Father of the Year, living in Maryland, living a peaceful life, when that couldn't be further from the truth. They didn't even mention in the title of that article, or even in the first paragraph, that this individual is an illegal criminal who broke our nation's immigration laws. He is a leader in the brutal MS-13 gang, and he is...
Okay, so now we have some more context here. Jamie Raskin defending this guy, the White House press secretary clarifying he is in fact the leader of MS-13.
Or even in the first paragraph, that this individual is an illegal criminal who broke our nation's immigration laws. He is a leader in the brutal MS-13 gang, and he is involved in human trafficking, and now MS-13 is a designated foreign terrorist organization. Foreign terrorists have no legal protections in the United States of America, and this administration is going to continue to deport foreign terrorists and illegal criminals from our nation's interior. I'd like to...
Okay, so there you have it. That's pretty simple. Now you have the full context. Jamie Raskin still deciding that this guy needs to come back. Brett Baer reacting to the latest border numbers. It's a stunner.
That was our voter analysis team went out and found this. 75% of the people said that they supported. That was the single most important factor in their vote. When you're at 75% in America, all right, 50-50 nation, that's Republicans and Democrats and independents alike. And you mentioned the border crossers. In March, 7,000. That's a stunner. And then you get to the headline from the LA Times, California-Mexico border once overwhelmed, now nearly empty. And that's where we are. And we say it a lot, once you fix a problem, people forget about it. But this is a big change.
It's a stunner, Bill. It really is. And for all of the talk, remember, of President Biden saying, I've done all I can do, and the administration and the Biden administration saying you have to have congressional action and a piece of legislation to be able to change the numbers on the border. What we've seen just in a few weeks is the numbers have changed significantly by the executive actions of the Trump administration.
Our voter analysis team went out and found this.
Everything Biden told us was a straight-up lie. From day one. Oh, you need to have legislative action, and then blame Trump for initiating, his influence on Congress to vote against a bill that would just open up the border even more. Oh man, it's all for us to see now. Tom Homan torches a judge who ruled Trump can't strip deportation protections from Venezuelan illegals.
Said in his ruling, days, Tom, the past administration tried to extend TPS. So the administration got rid of it. Your administration under Donald Trump's leadership got rid of it quickly. A federal judge is disagreeing with this, but it's the reasoning that got me. This is what he said in his ruling. There's no evidence that Venezuelan TPS holders are members of the TDA gang, have connections to the gang, and or commit crimes. Generalization of criminality to the Venezuelan TPS population as a whole is baseless and smacks of racism, predicated on generalized false stereotypes. The administration didn't bring stereotypes to the court. That's not the reason for getting rid of TPS. So what is this judge talking about?
Look, it's another activist judge making a stupid ruling. It just doesn't make sense. I've been around since 1984, Lawrence, and a TPS, temporary protected status, is never temporary. And President Trump is going to do his job by the rule of law. The law says temporary status. Once the conditions in that country they're from, once the conditions change, then people should be removed from the United States. It's only a temporary status. For instance, if there's a hurricane and it devastates a part of the country, we'll give them TPS until that country gets back on their feet. But TPS isn't meant to be decades long. So President Trump, who's promised the American people, we're going to force the laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. We're going to use the laws of this country to secure the border and enforce our immigration law. That's exactly what we're doing. TPS needs to be temporary in nature. We need to follow the rule of law and not some advice from an activist judge who makes a foolish ruling, not based on law, but based on opinion. If you look at that decision, it's based on opinion, not the rule of law, and that's what we need to get back to. So look, we'll litigate it, and we'll appeal it, and we'll win.
Days, Tom.
And winning is what we do here in this administration. Here's more from Tom Homan. Says he's going to visit Rochester, New York, after police officers came under fire from city officials because they cooperated with ICE.
Occupants are refusing.
The Rochester Police Department is under a lot of scrutiny because they got an officer assist call from ICE, and they showed up for the call. This is what their union is saying, Tom. Let's watch it.
Our policy is also to back up other officers who need help. We report on this all the time about an officer killed during a traffic stop. It is one of the most dangerous times for an officer to have. You have a vehicle that the occupants are refusing to get out. It was a van. Turns out there was 8 people in that van, and our officers did an excellent job of de-escalating that situation.
Tom, aren't you proud of those law enforcement officers for doing their job, answering the call?
That's they did, yeah, absolutely. And I met some of those officers at a law enforcement rally down in Tennessee, and I told them I'm coming to Rochester. I promised them I'd come to Rochester and address the issue. Now, I have been told just recently that the leadership at Border Patrol and HSI have met with the chief, and they're going to continue to respond to emergency calls. But I made a promise I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I think the issue lies with the mayor of Rochester, who supports sanctuary city policies and took this action. Those officers that responded were put on a death, taken off the road because of those actions. I think what I've heard is the chief of police has had a conversation with both Border Patrol and HSI, but I made a promise to those law enforcement officers I'd go to Rochester, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I keep my promises.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, we're dealing with lunatics right now. When you get a call on the radio saying officer assist, this is standard operating procedure. You show up, no matter what jurisdiction. It's all lights and sirens coming to aid the officer. We'll see what happens, Tom.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we responded to in that story. It says cops need to respond to cops in emergency situations. Border Patrol and ICE has never not responded to a call for assistance from law enforcement.
Tom Homan, thank you, brother. The Rochester Police.
Oh, well, it's not over yet. Still going to have meltdowns from the left. People actually, I mean, how can Jamie Raskin continually defend these people? It blows my mind. But it's about justice, plain and simple. I mean, for years, Americans watched as violent MS-13 members flooded across our borders, established networks in our communities, brutalized innocent citizens. White House press secretary detailing their crimes. I mean, what they did to a 20-year-old autistic woman in Maryland. And 4 people. Oh, I can't even speak it. Yet Jamie Raskin defends these monsters, demanding their return to American soil. Why? Because for the radical left, hating Trump outweighs protecting American lives. Tom Homan put it perfectly when challenged about due process for deported gang members. Laken Riley had 0 due process when she was brutally murdered. The uncomfortable question remains, if Democrats are more upset about deported MS-13 gang members than murdered Americans, who do they actually represent? Show your support for the Next News Network by going to our shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, grab a hat and grab a shirt, and show your support for the real news. All right, folks. It has been a sunset show today. Our first one in the can. And I want to say what's up, $96.45 in chat revenue. I can actually see now. I can see my screens. It's crazy. We got Alice, and Tom, and Thomas, and Feringer, David. We've got Rodana, Tom B., Alice, Cersei, just dropping it all. Thank you guys so much. Juan, gifting 5 memberships. A little on the light side for Juan today, actually. I think didn't like one night he gave like 200 memberships. That was just crazy. Don't try to me. Gary, grab a nice cold Old English quart. Yeah, we'll see about that. Oh, man. Let's check in on the main chat real quick and see what you guys are saying here. And then I think we could go to, I think we have a shot for Big Chat. Let's see here. Let's just check in on the main news. as we continue. President Trump emphasizes the importance of the Wisconsin election. Important referendum question on the ballot. Amend the state constitution to require voter ID. This and other election integrity measures, including banning drop boxes and same-day voting. Get out and vote today. Cory Booker, after his speech. Oh, my goodness. What is this? 19 reasons Sky Mall was too good for this world. What? Rest in peace. Hello, Vegas. Would you think an English professor who engages both critical and creative language would find a more constructive way to disagree? Oh my, I don't even know what the heck they're talking about here. Okay, let's go down to the main chat and see what you guys are saying. I think I need to increase the font size or something here. How is Wisconsin doing with the election? I don't know yet. Don't forget to go to Discord after the chat. That's members only. So if you want to continue the conversation, they do voice chat, video chat. You guys can all hang out, share memes and videos. Make sure you do that. Looks like people cleaning up the beach behind me. Much love to the N3 family, says R. Boyd. Thank you for that. And speaking of family, I'm going to get with mine. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another explosive episode of the Raw Feed. Coming to you from the beautiful Gulf of America. What a show it's been. Day 71, President Trump's historic reclamation of the White House, and the momentum is only building. We start with Kid Rock literally storming the Oval Office alongside President Trump to take down the ticket scalping cartels that have been bleeding American concertgoers dry for decades. The culture war is collapsing in real time as unlikely alliances form, even Bill Maher breaking bread with Trump at the White House. This is how America heals. Not through media narratives, but through real people finding common ground. Then we witnessed the absolute meltdown over Trump's third-term comments, a masterclass in psychological warfare that exposed just how terrified the establishment remains of a president who actually delivers for the American people. Is it a serious constitutional strategy or the greatest political trolling operation in history? Either way, the hysterics tell you everything you need to know. Then, of course, we explored Liberation Day. It's happening tomorrow. The dawn of a new economic era as Trump unleashes a global tariff revolution to break the chains of economic slavery. Foreign nations already folding, eliminating their tariffs on American goods before Trump's pen even hits the paper. This is America First in action. Not just words, but economic warfare against those who've exploited us for decades. And Elon Musk exposing the deep state's desperate attempt to delete a terabyte of financial data, evidence of corruption that could bring down entire power structures. The digital battlefield may determine the future of Western civilization itself. And finally, we covered Trump's MS-13 deportation blitz, which has liberal lawmakers melting down as border crossings collapse by a staggering 94%. I want to thank Tom McCullough for his boots on the ground reporting from D.C. today. Tom's connections inside the White House continue to give us the edge over the legacy media propaganda machine. Before we go, I do want to remind everyone about the tragic accident that claimed the lives of 5-year-old Arianna and her father just days ago. Her sister Alicia remains hospitalized, and the family needs our support now, so please visit the GoFundMe link in the description. Any contribution shows what true Americans do in time of crisis. And thank you to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight. Your support keeps the show alive when others would have us silenced. So consider donating through the links in the description, and don't forget to visit our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, for exclusive Next News swag. Tell a friend about the show, share the episode. Together we are building an army of informed patriots. Thank you for joining the Raw Feed. We'll see you on the next show tomorrow night, live from the Gulf of America.